What's up, Wesheads? Supper Soup, head of the podcast here. Just wanted to let you know that this episode is going to have some difficult subjects that you may not want to hear or have to listen to. So if you or anyone you want to suggest this podcast to has problems with discussions on incest, suicide, or dog murder, maybe skip this episode. Okay. I'm pretty sure that's everything. God, I hope I got everything. Okay, episode start now. Okay, so I wanted to start the podcast off this time by doing a little joke. So can I make a joke for you guys?
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So there's this director, and he's a really great director. He does a lot of great stuff directing movies. But he has like depression. So he seeks therapy quite frequently. And he's been going through his therapist, and the therapists have a back and forth. And he talks with his therapist a lot, and I think I ruined the bit. I think I fucked up. Alright, hold on, let me try this again. Can I try this again?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So there's this guy. We don't know that he's a director yet. You're not supposed to know that.
Alright.
He's a
He's
guy.
a guy who could have any
Job.
Any job.
Yeah, any job.
He could be the renowned clown Pagliacci for all we know.
What do you?
Pagliacci.
I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what that is.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what that is. Anyway, he has a job, and he's okay at it. Yes, he's okay at it, but that's irrelevant to the joke. Definitely.
Did he have the job before or after he entered the doctor's office?
Irrelevant.
Should have seen the doctor?
No, he's not the doctor. You don't know.
Okay.
It's again, his job's not relevant. We don't need to worry about that. Promise.
Okay.
Promise you, it's not relevant. But he's really bummed out recently. And he goes to therapy, and he seeks therapy, and he gets it, and he has some back and forth, and they're doing okay. And about like a couple months in, he goes, "Doctor, I don't know, it's been really hard lately. I could really use something to cheer me up. Some good in this world. You know any ways that brighten your day?" And he goes, "Yeah, man. You know, when I'm feeling down, I like to go and see a movie from my favorite director." And he goes, "Oh, what kind of movies do you like?" And he goes, Bottle Rocket, Rushmore, Royal Tenenbaums, stuff from Wes Anderson. You should really try to watch. You try some Wes Anderson stuff. It's a really great director. And the guy who we don't know the job or name of, he looks to his therapist and he goes, "But doctor, I'm Wes Anderson." Folks, welcome to Journey to the West. I'm your host, Supper Soup, and today I'm here with my other hosts. Hosts, speak now.
So I think I've actually heard this riddle. The doctor is his mom, because women can also be doctors. My name's Austin.
Uh-huh.
I respect women.
What did you say?
I said my name's Austin. I respect women.
That's great, man. I'm glad to know.
No one else got the riddle right, so I don't know what to tell you.
I didn't know it was a riddle.
Derek, you go next.
Yeah. Well, look, you don't need to bury survivors. So I also respect women. I'm Derek.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Someone else speak now? Or I guess don't.
We're going in a pretty good order, Swigs. Why don't you go?
Yeah, I'm Swigs or Taka. I do streaming at twitch.tv/Takara Takedown. I'm not doing that right now though, because I'm on this fuck ass podcast, and I hate women.
No!
Hates women. Hates women. Hates being on the podcast. From what I've from studies.
No, I'm Wes Anderson.
Quote unquote, according to our dearest co-host, is just the thing to do. Last co-host who cherishes being here, unlike everyone else, unlike someone else here.
Like thing to do. Like
You're like, you're done announcing yourself. You're done.
Anyway, so it's like if you went to the park to play baseball with your friends every week, and one of them was like, "Oh, I'm feeling sick, I can't make it," and it's like, that's a bummer, but like, we're just doing this for fun. We're not gonna come to your house and kill you.
Dude, we're gonna go pro. We're in the running for top tier of Wes Anderson based podcasts.
We're in the major leagues already.
I can't afford a GoPro.
Noodle, Zach, I'm so sorry that these rude fucks have been cutting off your moment to announce yourself and let people know that you're here on this podcast. Can you please announce yourself and tell the nice crowd who you are?
Hi folks, my name is Zach. I go by Red Sugar Heart on the internet. My friends call me Noodle. I respect women because they're all my best friends.
Okay, well, alright, that's good information.
Ooh, how did the best friend running it seem?
That's nice to know. That's good. Glad to hear that information
Well, there's always something new
on
to
the
try.
podcast.
Given how much we all respect women, except for Taka, what's the most recent purchase you guys made from Goop? Gwyneth Paltrow, who is one of the stars of this film's fucking cash, whatever the fuck business you want to call it.
Goop!
I'm sorry.
I'm investing in Goop every day.
Yeah, Goop, which is Gwyneth Paltrow's company where she sells dubious things.
Is this supposed?
Well, I'll tell you what, I made Goop today for free.
Is this supposed to give?
You're costing her money.
Is this
That's
image?
not very respectful.
Is this image of her and her company logo supposed to give pussy energy?
Yeah, it does. She made a candle that supposedly smells like hers at one point, but also it explodes. So
What? Huh?
That's part of the smell. That's part of the smell.
no, like it exploded.
What are you talking
For
about?
some people, anyway, it exploded, which is
I turned my fucking pussy stank candle around, and on the other half it just says Acme.
This kind of thing happens. April Fool's shitheads, by the way. No podcast for you last month. That was an April Fool's bit.
That was the trick. We got you.
Yeah, that was the trick we got you. And as part of the April Fool's forgiveness era, we're gonna do like nothing. Still go fuck yourselves.
Are we gonna have like a? I hope that we have like a hater group and call out posts on our third episode.
They should.
April
Yes.
Fool's, my mic is hoarse now.
Please go onto the Wes Anderson Reddit and become our haters.
Please.
This podcast.
Please.
This podcast was supposed to happen in March, but we've taken the question. What this podcast also presupposes is, what if it didn't?
Come on now.
Can I check something? I want to see. Did we? We didn't talk about the kind of reviews that came in from the
Reviews.
right? We didn't talk. Should we talk about the one comment that we got on the Wes Anderson
Folks,
subreddit.
We have to. We have
I don't know. Do we want to like give that fucking whoever it is a platform, or do we want to just?
Yes.
folks, should we address the allegation?
Yeah.
Yes, we should. Yes, I think we should. I think it's important.
All right. Yeah. Let's address the allegation. You know. Hi, Wes Anderson subreddit. Thank you guys so much for giving us those 11 upvotes. I don't really. Thanks so much for the Reddit gold. I don't really know what any of that is. I don't use your platform. I'm just kind of
Use it to buy a halberd soon.
using it to buy a halberd, using it to milk you guys for like views. Gonna address your concerns and questions today. Best comment, only comment. Not gonna read his name. You're gonna have to find it yourself. Says, "Oh, fans talking. How novel. Guess what? Wes Anderson uses symmetry. Guess what? Wes Anderson uses symmetry, dog symbolism, and there is a heist. You don't say. Golly gee." And you know we want to we really care about your opinions on our podcast and the things that you have to say about it. We want to help you.
Yeah. And with that in mind, clearly, because novelty is like is the pinnacle of how we're supposed to do our Wes Anderson podcast, we shouldn't be talking about Wes Anderson on it. Let's instead, I suppose, talk about because we've delayed this so long, we now exist in the same world as limited edition Creeper Milk.
May I also point out, you know, we can just get out ahead of everything. We can put it on the table now. The dog symbolism in this movie is that the dog gets run the fuck over.
The dog does indeed die super hard.
The dog.
This is symbolic because it's what I want to do to you, random commenter. This is an actionable threat.
I'll find Owen Wilson, I'll get him all fucked up on drugs for real, and then I'll get him to run you over. Like the dog you are.
I'll
feed him mescaline.
Major
spoilers.
I'll slowly transform him into real Eli Cash. I'll get
scary.
it. I'll do hypnotherapy to him.
That's scary. Don't do that.
I'll get him into a talk. I'll get him into an interview where I talk to him, and say really apologetic things to all the mean stuff I've said to him and in his music, his careers, and then I'll get a hypnotherapist to pin him down and make him think he's really like Cash.
Wait, so the hypnotherapist is gonna hold him down while you hypnotize him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just can't help but feel like that the roles should be reversed.
He
I
taught
feel
me.
like you're overpaying your goons.
He taught me everything I know.
The hypnotist knows how to hold someone so that the hypnotism works.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
It's like a special yoga position that makes you more susceptible.
Yeah.
All right, now get comfy in this chair. Oh, headlock.
You like
I'm a
you
chicken.
like mescaline. You like mescaline. You like pictures that are racially questionable.
Oh no.
Get mescaline.
You like hurting your best friend.
You will drive this car at this time, at this address.
You find the life of pets to be not that important.
You just have to make
point of order.
her apartment for some reason.
Point of order, character did care. The death of You know what? We'll get there. We'll get there.
You should have more mescaline.
What is mescaline? I forgot.
I believe it's like. No, hold on. That's peyote.
The
I
type-
thought it was a cactus derived.
It's a type of mesk that's illin.
I
Whatever.
thought it was a cactus derived fucking hallucinogen, but that's not true. Hold on. Oh wait, no, it is. It's a hallucinogenic, similar to psilocybin.
So it's like shroomy.
mescaline occurs naturally in certain cacti, such as peyote.
I was right! Wait, it is peyote!
Peyote's just the name of the plant. Mescaline's probably the fucking chemical.
Yeah. Cool.
Exactly.
Okay.
That is exactly it. Yes.
Wow, that's great.
We got off topic.
So, we're recording this at 9:39 p.m. EST on April 15th, 2025. And balls completely exposed. We watched the
That's
movie.
not true. That's not true. He's lying to you. He's lying to you. It's another part of the April Fool's trick.
We watched the movie.
Let him tell one truth in his life.
We watched the movie a very long time ago. We watched a movie maybe. Let me see if I can find the exact date.
Like a month, right?
Yeah, a
Like
bit.
almost a full month ago, yeah.
Not it. It's been a while, but it was like the March
26 looking like.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
definitely it. Yeah.
So it was like maybe 2/3 of a month ago.
Yeah. So been a hot minute. I've seen the movie several times throughout my life. None of them have been this month. Where's everyone else on the Royal Tenenbaums tracker? Oh yeah, that's the movie we're gonna talk about today. Royal Tenenbaums. Didn't say that yet. Say again.
Yeah, we've just been referencing it the whole fucking time.
Yeah, this is the Royal. This is the Royal.
And they, they'll know because they'll like see the thumbnail art.
The thumbnail
Yeah,
art.
Thumbnail.
The thumbnail art. That's to pay respect.
I am currently in the process of making it.
I thought no, I mean by our dearest friend Zach Rush Sugar Heart Rush Sugar Heart Rush. Go
Can't even say my fucking name right.
go follow his blue sky and commission him for peyote. Don't do that. I shouldn't say that.
I don't think I live anywhere that has a cactus.
Commission him to draw Owen Wilson high on peyote now.
I'll do it.
So yeah, I watched it yesterday.
Oh, that's great.
Oh. You're fucking you're up to date as much as you can be.
Yeah,
And,
we do a podcast. Sometimes it may. I feel like maybe being prepared.
And Derek, when's the last time you saw it?
When's the last time I saw it was March 28th when I rewatched it with the commentary turned on. So I do have it twice times done.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I don't need to watch it again because my clumsiness and dim-wittedness will manage to carry me to the end in spite of everything.
You should be nicer to yourself.
Listen.
Hi everybody. I've actually watched the movie every day up until now.
No, you fuck off.
I believe you.
Come on.
Don't say that, Soup. That's like nothing. Don't say that.
For believing in me, you can have one mescaline tree.
Yay! Yay! Mescaline! Yay! I don't know. Yeah, this is.
What are you gonna do, boy?
I don't know. I guess not be a pothead like you. Anyway.
I quit.
Anyway, we're not talking about your crippling drug addiction on the podcast. We're talking about Wes Anderson films.
Mean to me.
We're talking about Wes Anderson films. This is not a Noodle drug podcast. This is a Wes Anderson podcast. I guess relevant things that I would know about the movie behind the scenes is that this is the last time we will ever see our dearest Little Wilson. That's like fucked up to say. What's his name? What's his real name?
Luke Wilson?
Yeah, Luke Wilson. Yeah. Sweet baby Luke Wilson. This is his last appearance in any West film. As such, instead of getting a normal thumbnail that would be comprised of all of us, we are instead, I've instead decided that this episode should be this episode's thumbnail art should be a tribute to glorious Luke, flying free.
Man, first we lost Andrew Wilson, now we lose Luke Wilson.
No, Andrew Wilson was in this movie.
Wait, he was?
You would know that if
He
you
was.
watched it yesterday.
I literally did.
I can finally
Oh,
discuss the
Oh.
thing that I wanted to discuss just before we start actually going over the events of the movie. Do you think that there's a universe in which the McElroy brothers and the Wilson brothers switch places?
What would happen to Wes?
I think this would affect the movie in large ways, but I don't think it would make the movies worse in any way.
It wouldn't make them worse. I think it would just make them more like dipshit movies.
Would the so like is Wes still Wes Anderson, but he has to, but he's
Yeah.
he's living in he's living in the hole with the McElroys instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And Travis is jerking off a lot.
Okay. That does make Travis McElroy the the new like Owen Wilson of that universe, which
so Luke Wilson runs their D&D podcast.
yeah. Luke Wilson runs the D&D podcast. Andrew Wilson is really into fucking living on sponge cake, watching the sun bake, wasting away in Margaritaville.
Having a case of the Mondays.
And I guess, yeah. I guess Owen Wilson would be jerking it.
Owen Wilson says, "Hi, what's up, Mr. Brental Floss? I'm going to start jerking off now."
I really hope that I fully don't get this reference, to be honest, but I do.
I don't get this reference. What are you talking about?
I really do hope that this is the top tier commentary that one editor was looking for. You know? I hope I get a good grade in fucking this one dipshit's opinions.
Alright, so the quick pullback curtain is that, you know, the YouTuber Brental Floss did a song about how his fucking roommate jerked off a lot, and Travis McElroy was one of his roommates.
I
Oh.
see.
Cool.
He making a vague post about Travis McElroy.
Vague post, I've made a musical number about how much you jerk off, but I'm not saying your name.
Oh my god.
Perhaps his other roommate was Wes Anderson. Food for thought.
and that other roommate was Wes Anderson.
But Brent, I am Pagliacci.
Again, I don't know. I don't get what that reference is, but I'm sure some people think it's really funny.
Whatever.
Can we talk about the film?
Why?
Hey man,
You know, that's a great question.
I mean, you seem sad if you tried jerking off a lot, but doctor.
I'm Travis McElroy. The movie starts off with explaining the systems of the family. Kind of like it has a really nice presentation with like dividing the story into a kind of like a showing off like a book, chapter by chapter, right? Shows off the three, siblings of the family. And I've forgotten all of their names. Someone else do this.
Well, we
Looking
have
at my notes.
Chassie, Margot, and Richie.
Mm-hmm.
Chaz,
Chaz, Margot, and Richie, yeah, in that order.
Chassis?
That's what sounds.
Yeah, you know, the
Fucking-
body of the car.
He's Nick. Some
That's-
royal, you know, or
Yeah, it's
titular
his
protagonist.
nickname.
Yeah,
Jazzy.
yeah.
We get a funny ass. The first thing I noticed in this film is a funny ass shot of a kid working at a desk with a coffee cup.
That's Chaz.
Yeah, because you're getting run through like they all seem to be like,
They're all
look at all these gifted children who can do all this shit. I'm going to do business from my child room and drink coffee and breed Dalmatian mice.
Mm-hmm. Don't really know what the fuck that's about, like, in any regard.
Oh yeah, that like doesn't come up ever again, does it?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, they do.
It does.
I mean, like, we see
it does
that...
because the mice plague the house after that.
Yeah, it comes up in a sense that they're in the house still, but, you know, I don't quite... I guess, things to ponder.
It doesn't lead. Yeah.
Things to ponder.
Things to ponder.
We can say it's part of his, success to living a decent life.
Mm-hmm. You know, we... Mm-hmm.
Just it didn't really register with me while we were watching it the first time, but the intention, I guess, was that this was based on a book that doesn't exist, and that's why there's the whole theme of you see somebody checking out a book and there's chapter titles and everything like that, and it's kind of fun because you can actually freeze frame and see like a little write-up on the inside of the book, and it's like, this is the Royal Tenenbaum, a rascal if ever there was one.
And like the openings of the chapters sort of describe a scene that is about to happen as if it were written in a novel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is really cool.
That sort of chapter-based method of storytelling is probably something we're going to see solidified more often here on out.
Mm-hmm.
If there's anything I know about Wes.
I did also forget the fact that, like, kind of frame one of this movie is Royal telling the children that he's getting divorced.
Yeah. Well, not divorced.
Well, that he is getting separated.
Yeah, not divorced, just separated. He's just going away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I have down here that he said, we're not getting divorced, but it doesn't look good, and I respect your mother.
Mm-hmm.
He respects women.
He respects women.
Yeah, we're all...
He respects
And so does the Wes Anderson podcast.
Except for some of us here.
big ass thumbs up and one of my teeth falls out.
You drop this, King.
Puts it back, lodges back into your gums, pats you on the head.
I start chewing on it.
I guess this is also as good a time as any to mention that, nothing that was brought up before, but it certainly played a part, is that Wes Anderson loves the Futura font. That is a Wes Anderson font, and if you want to make anything look like Wes Anderson did it, just use the Futura font.
It's good advice.
Yeah.
Thanks, Derek.
I guess I'll change the font I've been using.
Yeah. And then you can use the Futura font. Wes Anderson will come across the podcast and be like, "Oh, did I make this? Yeah, okay."
We're tricking the West. We're putting a fucking Futura font under like a cardboard box with this.
I'm gonna write in the corner of the thumbnail, "Made by Wes Anderson."
I don't think you can do that.
Made
Yeah, I
by
feel like that combined with my "this is an actionable threat" comment from earlier might get us in some legal trouble.
made by supported by, beloved by Wes Anderson.
And we might be able to say
Why don't you-
that. People will know we're bullshit.
Why don't you just put text that just says, maybe Wes listens to it?
Maybe
You have no proof that he didn't.
you have no proof Wes Anderson doesn't love our podcast. You have no proof Wes Anderson doesn't support the Patreon to watch this like a few weeks earlier than everyone else.
Wes will never.
Oh, yeah, patrons got to see this on normal release time, still in March.
The fuck ever.
That's so true.
April Fools, this fact is true.
Mm-hmm. Something the Royal looks at the fucking kid, says, I'm leaving, kids consisting of nope, not gonna answer that fucking phone call. How fucking dare they? Kids consisting of Chaz, a smart business boy, Margot, a adopted member of the family, who our protagonist Royal, a movie named after Royal Tenenbaum, insists that she is adopted, and will never, will always introduce her as the adopted member of the family, to a point where this has become such a weird ingrained thing in her brain that it like slowly ruins her ability to write plays.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily the fact that she's adopted so much as slightly later in this sequence where he's also like not particularly supportive because he's a very candid person who doesn't really think about or care about other people's feelings at all,
Right.
or how he impacts them.
Right. And then we have Richie, the one member of the kid that somehow got away without much trauma and was like his favorite for no particular reason.
I mean, we have his things like, you know, his dad did take him to witness dog fights, and he also did run away from home with Margot for like 4 days.
Mm-hmm. But he was always like chill.
I mean, he was the favorite.
He was chill.
Yeah. Yeah, he was the favorite. And you know, cut like to present day, they're all adults now. We have
we do have to also mention not one of the Tenenbaums, but you know, we also have Richie's best friend Eli Cash.
Yeah.
Precious.
He's just there a lot.
He just visits their house a lot. He lives across the street or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He like he kind of wishes he was one of them.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, you go.
Yeah, so as it's going through like how everyone's sort of types of accomplishments and things like that. Again, Chaz, very accomplished business person and breeder of Dalmatian mice. Just very, very serious business kid. You look at him and you're like, oh, he's very mature for his age, which is going to provide a significant contrast later. You've of course got Margot doing all of those, like she's a playwright as a child and everything, and immediately, like on her birthday, she shows off one of her plays. Everyone takes part, but Royal doesn't get it, doesn't particularly like it, and doesn't make any real attempts to like even soften the blow a little bit for how he's explaining that, which you know, that doesn't go over particularly well and is immensely discouraging. And
gets him banned from all future birthdays parties of hers.
Yeah, banned from all future like celebrations, really. And then Richie is like a prodigy at sports and tries to do art. He's not immensely good at that, but whatever. Constantly drawing his sister.
He also owns a falcon.
He owns a falcon, yeah. He does falconry. Falconry's really cool.
Falconry is very cool.
Anyway, so, and then he goes on to be a tennis professional. So it's like they are all considered geniuses, and then they all are theoretically immensely successful. But yeah, I guess we get to the next stage of the movie.
Boom.
Oh, so there's a scene where they show Chaz messing around with BB guns, and then Royal shoots him in the hand.
Mm-hmm.
This was based on this happening to Andrew Wilson from Owen Wilson shot him. So later in the movie, when Royal's like, "Hey Chaz, let's take a look at that BB in the hand," they got that's Andrew Wilson's hand with the actual BB still in it.
Ew!
Yeah.
No. That's terrible.
Mm.
Fucking superimposed his hand.
And the scene at the birthday party, they did a couple takes of that, and there was one scene where the mom's hair actually catches fire in real life.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I linked the bloopers a month or so ago, and you can check it out there. But her hair catches fire from the cake, and Kumar actually shows up there and puts it out. So if it wasn't for Kumar, things would have gotten a little worse.
Thank God Kumar saved the day again. What would we do without Kumar?
Powerful hero, Kumar.
Powerful hero.
What are we gonna do without him?
I don't know. I don't
Well-
think that movies will be the same without him.
Everybody, we're gonna have to step up and put out our own fires and spin our own plates.
We're gonna have to clone a new Kumar.
That's not what we said.
Oh, I see what you mean. We gotta make our own Kumar. No.
No, we're not. We're not gonna make our own Kumar. We're just going to do a moment of silence of Kumar remembrance, I suppose.
Yeah, Kumar Palana.
Yeah.
Really, this just means we need to live our lives as he would.
Yeah. Spin plates, put out fires.
Just be an overall pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
Crack safes.
Pretty cool.
Crack safes.
Pretty normal.
Stab people.
Stab people just a little bit. You know, it's whatever you feel.
Hmm. Then we move on to the next phase of the movie. And wouldn't you believe it? The child prodigies are all doing terrible.
They are fucking. Richie stopped playing tennis.
Yeah, he retired from tennis at 26 to travel around on an ocean liner.
Yeah. Margot got married to some neurologist.
Who's playing the neurologist?
What's
Bill Murray!
Bill Murray's playing the neurologist. I can't be fucked to remember the character's name.
His name's Raleigh.
Yeah.
Raleigh. Margot got married to him. Apparently she'd been smoking since 12 and had been hiding it from everyone.
Mm-hmm.
She's also already been divorced once.
She'd already been divorced once. She hadn't written a play in 7 years.
She has a wooden finger because as a child she ran off for a while and just came back with a wooden finger.
I think it was more specifically that she came back with a finger missing. I think the wooden finger might have come later, but I might be wrong.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't wooden finger now.
Wooden finger now, missing finger before.
Is watching TV, is spending most of her days in a bathtub with a TV tied to a fucking radiator directly next to it.
I think kind of one of the most pathetic scenes that you can see in the movie, I think. Kind of sad.
Mm-hmm.
We also have our good buddy Eli, who became a professor of English literature, and he's like a celebrity, even though he's kind of stupid as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of stupid, doesn't know what he's talking about. What was that shit that he said?
It was everybody knows that General Custard gave up at so and so.
Died at the Battle of Little Bighorn, but this book presupposes.
But this book
What if he didn't?
presupposes. What if he didn't?
What if he didn't? What if he just didn't?
It's posed thoroughly actually as a question. What if he didn't?
I feel like we should point out that Bill Murray's character Raleigh is doing certain studies on a boy.
Studying on a boy Dudley and his Heinsberg syndrome, which is just whatever they want it to be, really.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's basically a case study of what's wrong with this kid.
God, I just love that Dudley tags along wherever. Really?
Yeah, that's like his pet boy.
Mm.
I don't think you can say that.
He describes it as like a mixture of like several different problems, but that has
I don't know. I guess if you're like,
s-
yeah.
yeah, several different symptoms, but not every symptom of everything, and it's just looking at it like there's something. Yeah, there's a lot going on, and I have to give it a new name now.
What's wrong with this boy? Whatever it is, it's gonna make me famous.
Mhm.
Something is wrong. We're not sure entirely what. Let's give it a new name.
Yeah,
Well, I
so
mean,
the
like,
kids.
he names it after him. I'm pretty sure. Like it's
The kids aren't doing too great because we see Chaz as well, and he's waking his children up to do like a get out of the house fire drill.
Yeah.
Because his wife died in a plane crash, and now he's paranoid about fires.
Specifically,
And the kids forget the dog, and he's like, "Well, the dog,
Dudley's
it's too
dead.
late. The dog didn't make it."
Dog didn't make it. Also, it's important to note that he was not on the plane. I don't think he was on the plane. I think every other member of his family was on the plane, including the dog. The only person that didn't make it was the wife.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's become, unfortunately, a very paranoid ever since.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so he's doing that. And we also have.
Oh,
Our
he's
buddy
also
Royal.
Chaz is played by Ben Stiller. This is the only time we'll see Ben Stiller in any Wes Anderson film.
Damn.
Hi, Ben Stiller. Go watch Severance, I guess.
Are you telling Ben Stiller to go watch Severance?
Go watch
He
the
might as
thing.
well.
Go watch the thing you directed. Make sure you did it right,
Just make
idiot.
Yeah, go enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So here's a fun thing. You people know that like Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson are big buddies, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that is because Ben Stiller loved Bottle Rocket.
Really?
It is he sent Owen Wilson a letter saying how much he loved Bottle Rocket. He wants Owen in movies and stuff. So
That's
it's because of Bottle Rocket that they're the best friends that they are now.
You know, the power of boy in Bottle Rocket does really compel people, I think.
Ben Stiller wrote to Owen, and I was like, "Hey, you're such a boy in that film. You want to like hang out? You want to go karting?
Wanna go hang out with your boyfriends?
We do also have during this segment where we reveal that Royal has been living in a hotel room for like 22 years, and he's being kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
It was also during this part where we learned that Royal was also disbarred from his job as a litigator because because Chaz fucking sued him for stealing money from him while he was a child.
Mm-hmm.
Insane, but very funny.
Also sued for like appropriation of the house things.
Yeah.
He lost his house. He lost the deed. He lost the rights to the house from Chad.
I don't think it was his house. I think it was the summer house or something.
No, he got. Wait.
We're confused. Here at Journey to the West, we're confused about the exact situation regarding the events of Royal losing his house. If you want further information, we recommend go watching Royal Tenenbaums wherever you can.
I think it's both. Because like, if Royal had the summer house, presumably he would be living there once.
Yeah. It is also revealed at this time that no one from the family has spoken to Royal in like 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's been more than that, right?
I think so. Well, for most of them, it's been more than that.
Mm-hmm. And
Like for the
fucking what is it? Somehow we are not sure what Pagoda's role to the family is, but Pagoda, who is played by Darling Kumar, is
Kumar Polano,
is some kind of like double agent spy for Royal, who stalks the grounds of the household and reports back to him if anything happens. And while all this other terrible shit is happening to Royal with getting evicted and what have you, Pagoda relays to him that his wife, who he has not signed the divorce papers for, so still legally is his wife, is considering remarrying, or didn't say no to a suitor immediately, for the first time.
The guy who's been like
Henry Sherman, played by Danny Glover.
Mm-hmm.
Accountant, I think.
Yeah, accountant.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for.
Which, with everything coming together, he and everything, and his position and this news coming together, he devises a plan.
Hold on, because I do have here in my notes that he does state that he's cheated on her many times, but she's still his wife, and he's mad about it.
Yes.
He's such a
Royal, as a character, as a person, is very weird. He talks in a very eccentric way, but not in the eccentric way that you would think a rich old man, or a guy that comes from rich old family, would.
So to be clear, he acknowledges that that the way he feels is explicitly like what do you call it? Like a double standard.
Mm-hmm.
Or hypocritical, there we go. That said, he still feels it. And
therefore he must set out to do something about it.
Yeah.
Royal, one trait is that he does talk kind of like a freak. He does a little bit of racism later on in the movie, and that's where I'll probably be pointing it out the most, of his how he speaks. But like, he's got like a, maybe is a representative of him being like a guy. No, because we researched it. He makes references and uses like terminology that would have been popular when he was like 40. He calls black people Coltrane, which is like not a thing that would have been, which is not a racism thing that would have even been happening when he was a kid. Which
he's talking about speaking jive, which is kind of an older way to be doing I guess AAVE. It's like those fucking crows from Dumbo. And or
Fritz the Cat.
Racist depiction type shit.
But just specifically not the racist depiction type shit that you would expect from a guy that was born around the era he was born around in.
Well, or at the very least, it's something that's a very peculiar thing to come up for a movie in 2001, taking place in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, apart from the racism itself, I guess.
Yeah.
More the fact that it feels bizarrely anachronistic.
Let's see. I got a note here that in the scene where Kumar and where Pagoda and Royal are out in talking about what's going on, Pagoda is actually blocking the Statue of Liberty in that shot on purpose. Because Wes wanted to make you think it was some sort of like he wanted to avoid placing a location. He just wanted to make it look like is this New York, but you're not really sure if it's New York.
It's a city.
This apparently disturbed Gene Hackman, but he went along with it anyway.
Disturbed?
That's the word he used, disturbed. Wes said Gene Hackman was disturbed by this.
Get disturbed.
Yeah, so at this point in the movie, you then have Chaz trying to move back in to the big family house because he's like, I got locked out of my apartment. I feel like it's too dangerous. I want to make it safer before I move back. Can me and the kids stay here for a while?
Lying about the locked out of the apartment, but
yeah.
Kind of doing whatever he can to get in there because he just wants to be home.
Yeah, no, he's having a breakdown. He's having a nervous breakdown. He's not doing good.
So then Ethelyn goes to visit Margot, who's kind of chastising her for spending so much time of her day watching TV in the bathtub that is dangerously has the TV hanging towards the bathtub.
She reminds her mother, "Don't worry, it's on the radiator."
She mentions to Margot that Chaz has moved back in, and then Margot immediately decides, "Hey, what the fuck? I want to move back in too." Because I'm also depressed.
Oh, we're all just moving back in because we're depressed. We may as well do too.
I also have, for the scene where she leaves and the cab is called, I just have a note. Dudley is counting dents in a cab because he's like that.
Is what in a cab?
He's counting the dents in the cab when it arrives. And we also do get the moment where when Margot gets to the house, Eli is in her closet to greet her when she arrives.
That guy is kind of a little freak.
He's a little freak.
I got a note here. In Chaz's room, you see an electric tie rack. That was owned by the real life Steve Dignan. And Wes, he didn't have to say this, but he decided to comment on this anyway. Wes thinks that Dignan owning that may have alienated him may have given him an alienated social life.
Really?
Wait, owning a what? Owning what?
Electric tie rack.
Oh my gosh.
That's fucked up.
Not, he didn't say that about a character in the film. He said that about his actual friend.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because
Why it's a little fucked.
Also, that's in your house. How would that alienate you from anyone?
Well, because if you're the type of person to own an electric tie rack, I'm gonna smell it on you.
I think it's he had it in his dorm or something. I think is what it was.
This is just Wes going, "Lol, you freak."
I'm roasting you in the commentary, and you're not gonna know it.
I don't know, would you be friends with someone with an electric tie rack?
I don't know. It's eccentric. It's
Apparently Wes was.
The type of person to have that.
I don't know, Wes. Maybe the fact that you were friends with a guy who owned electric tire and makes you kind of socially inept. How does that make you feel?
Maybe you make movies like a guy who had a friend who owned an electric tire.
I don't think that's up for debate. I think he already knows.
So then at this point in the movie, we do get Royal is visiting his doctor and, being told about some side effects of a medication. We don't really, not too much is revealed to us here. And then Royal arrives also back at the family home. And, he's begging Ethelyn, because he says he's dying, does not elaborate on what he's dying of.
Yeah, we saw him in a hospital earlier.
Yeah, I mentioned he was visiting his doctor who was prescribing him stuff.
But hold on, shout outs to that doctor. That's if you've forgotten, that actor who played the doctor was Kumar's actual son.
Oh yeah, true.
So he says to his wife that he's dying. She's like upset because she's actually caring about him somewhat. And then he says like, "Well, I'm not dying." And then she gets fucking pissed off, starts hitting him. And he's like, "Okay, well, I am dying. I'm definitely dying. Definitely totally dying."
Very clearly is like coming off in a way that's like, well, if she feels that bad, maybe I don't have to lie. I have to lie. I have to lie. I have to lie.
We don't know that it's a lie.
I believe we kind of then get the scene of the mother kind of telling the children, sending a message to Richie, who's still out on his cruise. He returns by taking his cruise ship somewhere and then getting on a different cruise ship to get back home. Which is where Margot picks him up, and there's definitely some emotion in this scene.
Some feelings, some tension.
Yeah. Kind of already leaning like slightly romantic between them.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was mentioned that the cab was mentioned once, and throughout this movie, you see a particular cab service,
which we will not be naming.
Unfortunately, has a slur in the name. And
if you want to see, if you want to see this name of the cab slur, we here at Journey to the West recommend watching the movie wherever you can.
Wes said he did that on purpose because he said that's what people in New York call cabs. So,
but then he blocked the Statue of Liberty.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
I'm just doing a little New York reference for the real eagle-eyed viewers.
Well, I guess it's kind of a good thing also that he was like oddly prescient of Wes Anderson to be blocking the Statue of Liberty, so no one's really thinking about New York City for his movie that came out in 2001.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, it was a slang, and I thought it'd be funny if we just made that an actual company name, So that was his reasoning for that.
Well, I wasn't particularly in New York City in 2001, so I didn't do it. No, so I can't really verify the how much of a.
Yeah, that is true. Wes Anderson being more of a Texas person, I think he knows so much about New York.
Yeah, that seems not true and not correct, but I don't know enough about 2001 New York City culture to dispute it, I guess.
I don't know, made enough sense to me.
Poser Texan.
We do finally get, kind of a scene of, oh wow, look, the whole family's back under the same roof after 17 years.
Yeah.
And right after this, Richie goes and gets his falcon, who is still alive, gives him a couple of sardines, and just sends him on his fucking way.
Mm-hmm. Still alive, still just in a cage.
And You got some more trivia, Derek?
Yeah, it's about the Dalmatian mice. Since like, they kind of get peppered in scenes.
Yeah, they kind of get peppered around. Yeah. By this point in my notes, we've already seen 2 of them.
Wes says, "Yeah, we just used a Sharpie for those." And then he takes a minute and says, "I don't know if I should have revealed that."
Oh no!
Like the spots were so hastily drawn on.
By the way,
It's
Falcons can live for like 12 to 15 years, sometimes reaching 25 years.
Okay, so this bird's definitely old as fuck at the very least.
Bro, this bird is old. This bird is fucking geriatric at least.
It might not be the same bird. Like if he's into falconry and he had been living in the house, then I mean, could be a different falcon that he got shortly before leaving on his cruise, or any number of years before leaving on his cruise.
You know, I think a fun thing about this movie is that, you know, it's sort of cartoony in the way that like everybody has a very similar outfit that they're always wearing. Like you're almost always seeing Royal in a suit, and you're almost always seeing Pagoda with like pink pants.
Chaz and his progeny are always wearing red tracksuits.
And Richie's always got the tennis outfit.
Until he doesn't.
The penny loaf, yeah, until he doesn't. And then you know, so Ben Stiller asked about the red tracksuits. He's like, "Why are we always wearing red tracksuits?" And Wes told him, "Well, you know, because you're worried about your kids. You know, the bright red makes you easy to spot in the crowd." So Ben Stiller would go on and say, you know, that's why he makes them wear red tracksuits. So Wes said in the commentary, "Yeah, I that was a lie I told him. I just thought it'd be funny."
This is why Ben Stiller never returns, because he hates Wes Anderson so bad.
Wes Anderson's so fucking meansies to him.
He didn't have a real reason for the red tracksuits. He said, "I just thought it'd be funny," much like they all of them having curly hair.
See, I had assumed that was like referencing in a similar way to the fact that the kids are named Avi and Uzi, that they would be like Jewish.
Yeah, they don't really like touch on that very much.
I mean, Rachel is, apart from being just in general a name, also a Hebrew name. It's distinctly possible. Like, we don't really have to go into like lineage and genealogy of these children, but then again, also Royal himself is like in a late scene is mentioning he's half Hebrew, making the all of his kids 3/4 Irish Catholic. Those are not the words he used, but anyway,
there's some math, but it doesn't really.
Yeah, so
there's just some.
So this is the point of the movie where, you know, Royal finally does re-enter the scene, and, you know, he's kind of having a little meeting with the family, and he's like, "Oh man, I've missed everybody," and then Margot's like, "Hey, aren't you like dying?" And Richie remarks that he doesn't look that bad. And he's like, no, it's so bad. It's really bad. I got
died in 6 weeks.
Chaz goes,
I got 6 weeks bad cancer.
Chaz goes, "When are you dying?"
Yeah, Chaz does not give a shit. In fact,
Chaz does not like Royal.
He doesn't really care for anyone, actually. Like, anytime Richie tries to talk to him as well, I assume because he resents Richie for having been Royal's favorite, and he resents Royal for having done absolutely nothing for him.
Doing nothing and betraying him and shooting him with a BB as a child.
Yeah, I think he doesn't particularly show any animus or anything really for
just
Margot.
yeah.
And then he likes his mom.
Yeah.
Although he's also kind of a rude asshole. Yeah, Chaz is like, apart from having been an incredibly like mature child growing up, he also doesn't mature past that point, really, and is constantly, he's constantly like that. He's very childish, also in a lot of his mannerisms and a lot of the way that he physically moves and physically acts, which
that's kind of
very well done by Ben Stiller, I would say. He puts a lot of like subtle, very childish movements in like the way he ascends stairs when he's pouting and shit like that. He does a pretty fucking great job.
And that is a thing that like gets mentioned where they do talk about like that's also part of why they still wear the same shit that they did when they were kids, to kind of show like, hey, there's still
no one's really developed or moved on.
Yeah,
like they were children with so much promise. They were geniuses insofar as they did all of their development right away and then no further.
Yeah, you've got the bit where he takes everybody to see Grandma's grave. Where we also reveal that Royal does not remember Chaz's wife very well.
Mm-hmm.
Which is sad.
Yeah, and he
died.
Does remark on her looking really good though.
Awesome stuff, Royal.
Awesome stuff. Great job, guy.
This is also where we learn that Margot drops that she was typically excluded because, Royal would point out that it wasn't Margot's real grandma, so
she never really got to meet her.
I believe this is also where Royal starts bugging that he wants to like meet his grandchildren, and Chaz is like, no, fuck you still.
Get away from them.
Hates that fucker. This will still be
yeah. We've also got, he's kind of still stewing that his wife is, having a relationship with Henry. Mm-hmm. He complains about that some. Margot and Eli are hanging out. Eli reveals that Richie said he's in love with Margot.
Mm-hmm. There's some scene in between, or like in between her, like during the meeting, seeing Royal's mom's grave, where she's having a talk with Richie. I don't particularly remember what the talk was about, but I remember that it ends with her dropping her pack of cigarettes and Richie catching her with those. And she's just like, those aren't mine, and walks away from them.
I think by this point they do a flashback scene where they show you what happened to Margot's finger.
Mm-hmm.
Where she went to visit her actual family, who are Amish. And then it gets chopped off by Andrew Wilson.
Uh-huh. Who plays?
That's where he is in the movie.
Who plays her dad, right?
Yeah, well, I think that's considered her dad. He's somebody. But yeah, that's how she gets the prosthetic wooden finger. And
my mind.
What was that?
That scene completely slipped my mind.
I think that scene's like a lot later.
No, it's in the graveyard.
Yeah, it's in the graveyard. It's in the graveyard. We get a lot of again. This is one of the our greatest things about Wes Anderson films, where there's just a lot of shit happens that's like kind of nothing, but like is really important. And that's like the
development cutaways.
Yeah, character development cutaways, but that's kind of what most of the movies feel like.
Yeah, no, Avi and Ari ask, how did you lose your finger? And Chaz is about to, like, stop them. And she's like, no, I'll tell them.
This is why, and it's because they visit the cemetery more than once.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
What Wes mentions here that he was thinking of a prosthetic finger for the last movie on Margaret Yang, but he decided to not do that.
He didn't want
Just a little extra.
to chop off a poor girl's finger.
I think this is where we also get the scene of Richie's last tennis match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the
Yep.
right?
What was it?
The tape of it, right?
Yeah, the tape of it.
Where he does like a dog shit job.
Yeah.
He does a terrible job. He's doing a terrible fucking job because in the crowd we're seeing that Margot has just married Riley and Richie is miserable.
He like takes off his shoe. He like takes his shoes off and starts crying.
And this
2
is
shoes and 1 sock.
second cameo in the film as one of the commentators.
Mm-hmm.
And so the commentators are Andrew Wilson and Wes Anderson himself. And here's what's funny. Wes does acknowledge that he knows that people think that his voice is Jason Schwartzman's voice for some reason. So he knows that there's a mix-up going on. He's like, I don't know why that is.
Maybe because you sound too much like a Jason. Fix that. I should have been right. It should have been Schwartzman. I know what I heard.
I guess this is as good a time as any for me to say that they were thinking of a role for Jason Schwartzman in this movie, where he was going to play a young child prodigy named Mordecai, who lived on the roof and drank chocolate milk.
And they replaced him with the fucking bird?
That is
yeah. Well, like lived on the roof. I think that means not like lived on the roof, but like lived above the embassy or something.
I don't know. I think it would make sense for him to have lived on the roof. That's where Mordecai the Falcon lives.
That is where Mordecai
Considering that Wes has admitted to lying about stupid shit already, I'm willing to believe he just said that to fuck with us.
I mean, frankly, I kind of feel like the red tracksuits being just to fuck with Ben Stiller was also just to fuck with us. And it was, in fact, actually what he said to Ben Stiller in the first place. I think he's just fucking with everyone.
I will say this part didn't come from Wes himself. This part did come from Jason Schwartzman, who said it in an interview from a later film that I picked up on. So he may have been lying to Jason, but that's what Jason believes. He believes that he had a cut character named Mordecai, and they just decided to name the bird after him.
So yeah, we just kind of have this just long stream of information of different things happening during this segment, because you've got, Royal meets the kids, hatches a plan with them to try and like beg their dad to let him hang out with him. This is where we reveal the Chaz suing his dad and getting everything from him.
There's like a cutaway scene about it. It's pretty funny.
I've alluded to this point that Royal just kind of sneaks off with Chaz's kids anyway.
Right.
They go on some fucking some little carts and shit.
They steal.
He
teaches them
to shoplift.
Yeah, they go out to steal cartons of milk. They ride on the back of trash. Like, what is it? What are they called?
Garbage trucks.
Yeah, they ride on the back of garbage trucks, and he shows the kids dog fights. And
does like go-kart racing and things, and everything. Like, it it mimics exactly how he was with Richie, which is like
Yeah, I swear that exact dogfight scene happened with Richie earlier
Yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
and so this is just like I guess what connecting with children is to him.
Yeah.
It's what he did when he was younger, you know. When he was younger, he was the one fighting the dogs, but he's grown up and realized that was kind of wrong.
If he likes a child, this is their treatment.
Uh-huh.
They're allowed to watch dogs fight each other to death.
And bet on them.
And
we also get Richie kind of hanging out with Eli and asking him about like, hey, why'd you tell Margot that I like love her? And then we get another scene of Margot talking with Eli, and she's kind of worried about Richie. And Eli's like, hey, you're married and he's your brother. And then she's like, well, yeah, but I'm adopted.
Also, we should mention important note, when he does tell Margot about Richie being madly in love with her, it is him driving her to some location and them taking a quick pit stop for him to go pick up more mescaline.
Yeah.
I did wonder what was up with that.
So they drive to an area that is visually, unlike everywhere else in the film, like visually lower, like visually a worse neighborhood and everything.
Mm-hmm.
He hops out of his expensive car with his like very, very weird outfit, and he knocks on the fucking door or uses the intercom or whatever, and is like talking to his drug dealer.
Like, what? Hey, wow, it's me. It's me, Eli Cash. I'm here for the pickup. Yeah. Wow. And then he gets his mescaline bag.
What an interesting movie.
Also, let's be fair to Eli Cash. His outfit's not that weird. He's just dressed up like a cowboy, which
He's a cowboy, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's very, very cowboy.
He's cowboying it up in not New York.
Well,
He's cowboy in an upper class way.
Yeah, that's not cowboy. He's like stripper cowboy.
He's a poser.
He's Doug Dimmadome, which, like, that's not.
He's Doug Dimmadome.
He is Doug Dimmadome. You're right.
That's like not that. That's like not. It could be worse.
We finally have Royal getting super kicked out of his hotel. He calls up Richie. Richie's like, "Hey, Royal's so lonely."
Wait a minute. Before that, we get Raleigh showing up to the house because, like, Margot's been gone for however long.
However long it's been.
Yeah, for however long it's been. And he's like, I don't know, are you, like, having an affair? Margot's like, I don't even know how to begin to answer that, which Raleigh does not like that answer, obviously. Royal has actually seen Eli leave, because Eli and Margot having their thing. Royal has seen Eli leave through the fucking window, so he confronts Margot on it, and around the same time, I can't quite remember the series of events, Riley goes to the roof where Richie is, and is like, I think Margot's cheating on me, which, you like,
what are we gonna
Richie
do?
doesn't.
What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
How are we gonna get this guy?
Richie punches through the fucking window. It crumbles in a distinctly sugar glass way, but I still think it was a really good effect.
There was power behind that punch.
Yeah.
It looked really good.
So this is interesting. I have a note here saying that this was unscripted and Luke Wilson broke that glass. Now,
really?
Oh,
I thought it was sugar glass.
Sugar
Oh,
glass.
now hold on, because this is like some trivia that gets passed around, because it says Luke Wilson broke the glass unscripted, and this shocked Wes Anderson, so that's why in the next scene it just cuts to Richie and Rayleigh talking. Well, that's not what it looks like terribly. If you check it out, it looks like he actually is leaving the pen. And these sort of things that are unscripted, Wes usually mentions them when they're unscripted. But he didn't mention this at all. So I don't know where it came from. I don't know if anybody. I tried looking up like Luke Wilson interviews where he may have said, "Yeah, I broke a glass during the set of Royal Tenenbaums." He doesn't say that. Nobody says anything about that.
Did he?
The lost unscripted event.
Does Wes say anything when he punches the glass, or does he just get like weirdly silent?
He gets weirdly silent. Actually, he doesn't comment about it at all.
So what? I think he might have been scared.
I can't comment on this matter.
Watching it back, he's afraid, and this is actually the real reason that Luke Wilson is not on any future ones. You're a little too into it, my man. You scare me.
I don't know if we're safe on set, buddy.
I don't know. I don't know that I initially believed it to be like real glass and unscripted, but if it was, bravo, I guess.
And that's why it's scary.
Yeah, no, it's a good character move, and if that was just Luke Wilson improving, then he understood the character very fucking well.
Mm-hmm. Good character move, and I again cherish the line, "How are we gonna get this guy?"
I'm gonna get this guy.
Yes, this is also the part of the movie where, Royal has been brought to the home. Richie's like, he can be in my room. He's already got his whole fucking hospital bed set up with his fake hotel bellhop doctor.
We've seen in the last movie.
Yeah, Chaz is also pissed off because his children are calling Royal Pappy all of a sudden. He doesn't know what's up with that.
And
think
showing up with
when...
dog blood on their foreheads.
Yeah, this is also when Royal is trying to interfere with Ethelyn and Henry Sherman's whole like romance and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we have where Chaz is like, this guy needs to get the fuck out. Royal does his big fake falling out of his hospital bed moment. And then they're telling the family like, oh, he's been taking stomach cancer medicine, and Royal's like, oh, Ethelyn Pagoda has my will. You should handle that. And Henry's already pretty suspicious of this at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Something gets into a really stupid fight with Royal where he again calls him Coltrane and then goes, "You want to talk drive? I can talk jive."
I got a note about this scene too. Gene Hackman wanted to use Satchmo instead, and Danny Glover said, "No, Wes is right. We should use Coltrane."
Yeah, Satchmo as a reference does not land. I don't know who that is.
I believe that's the nickname for Louis Armstrong.
Mm.
The jazz player.
Oh,
Royal. God, yeah. Sounds like Gene was getting way too into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if I heard him say Satchmo instead of saying like Coltrane, I would assume that Satchmo was a slur I was not aware of instead of Coltrane being a reference that is dated.
Yeah.
Satchmo is just a different dated reference.
Yeah, no, it's a different dated reference, but like,
It it was also during this point of the movie, along with Royal catching Eli, that it's revealed that Eli has been sending Ethelyn things for years because she actually gives him positive encouragement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's like what I said. I think this is around the time in the movie where he does reveal, like, God, I wish I was a Tenenbaum.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I would have given, something like that.
What I would have given to be a part of the family full of insane people with one normal mother
Family,
who is
family full
falling
of
apart at
insane
the
people.
seams.
Family full of insane people, all kids of which have such extreme gifted kid burnout that none of them have progressed past their 7-year-old selves.
Mm-hmm.
This is also the point where we see that Chaz is kind of, I don't know if you want to call it regressed, but he started running an office out of his room again. And apparently this was where Royal takes the boys to go have fun. And we did skip over that they're kind of hanging out with Pagoda, and this is where it's revealed that he was a hired assassin who was supposed to kill Royal originally.
Yeah, stabbed him in
And
the stomach.
Yeah, stabbed him in the stomach, then carried him to the hospital.
That
and then became like their live-in guy.
what
Yeah.
I wonder what drove Royal or what drove Pagoda to regret almost doing that to the point where he had to save his life.
Well, you know, he's very charming.
Yeah, Royal's really charming. He said a funny joke while bleeding out on the floor, and he went, "I can't get rid of this man."
I figured it was because
I can't let him go to waste.
You know,
Hmm?
You think
Huh?
what, sorry?
I figured it was just because he was so pathetic. You know, just like a sad man.
Sad man, Mr. Royal.
I have to save you, says Pagoda.
I have to fix you.
I can fix him.
We have the obvious fight between Chaz and Royal. This is where Royal drops like, "Hey, I kind of think you're having a nervous breakdown, and I don't think you've like recovered from your wife's death at all."
It's really insane that Royal, of all fucking people, has the nerve to, like, point at all of his kids who are going through shit and be like, hey, it's not cool that you're, like, lashing out on others for the negative, like, for all the shit that's going on in your life with your negative, like, traits. And it's like the negative traits that are directly responsible for...
Huh.
Well, I mean, like, he's got, it's not necessarily that he lacks emotional awareness, he's just not, he just doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Or he cares more about himself than about anyone else. At this point, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of just selfish.
Yeah, just an incredibly selfish person.
But yeah, you know, which is why, again, I think it's insane that he is, like, suddenly locked in and went, hey, I don't think you should act like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like probably also a form of it, like you can poke fun at someone's obvious flaws whenever you want to lash out.
Mm-hmm.
This is also the moment we have, where we then kind of have after all this, where Royal and Ethelyn are having a walk in the park. She's talking about, this is, how are you doing? He's saying he's having a pretty good time with everybody. He actually like thanks her for raising the kids. He's asked, hey, why didn't you care at all? And he says he doesn't know and he's ashamed, which at this point is just a lie from him.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of like almost having a moment, but then he asks her how her love life is going.
Which he already knows the answer.
Yeah, and then this kind of leads into the whole big fight between Royal and Henry.
And, there's also a moment, is a moment where she's like, hey, I don't think I want to get married to you anymore, Henry. I don't think it's working. I think this is a bad time for us to be doing this. Which makes Henry lock the fuck in.
Immediately crying.
I'll be right back.
Good for him, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because, and this is how we get to the moment where, like, Henry's locked the fuck in. He's called everybody up to Royal's fake-ass hospital bed. Which this is also the moment where Royal is watching Eli's interview on TV where he, like, fucking loses it and leaves mid-interview.
Mm-hmm.
The big reveal finally happens.
He's
Royal has been
it.
lying. Bitches with stomach cancer don't eat cheeseburgers and lie in bed all day.
And there was a little scene before this where he's inspecting Royal's medicine. It's like Tic Tacs, and you see this giant close up of the pill. Well, Wes said that he wanted to actually print Tic Tac on there, but the Tic Tac people were like, "Don't do that, please don't do that."
The Tic Tac company. Hey, we don't do that to Tic Tacs. Don't do that on your Tic Tac.
I do think that's also a funny bit of it where, like, the longer he is there in his fake little hospital bed stay, like, there just keeps being, like, more and more pills there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I also love in a way that, like, you can even point that, like, he's childish, because it's like, what the fuck is this? Like a 5-year-old's idea of, yes, the sicker you get, the more pills you take.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels like everyone in this movie is some degree of childish, except for Ethel, who's doing great.
Mm-hmm.
She maybe you could say she's a bit naive in the sense that she didn't realize people were trying to suit her for so long.
I don't think she didn't realize. I think she
didn't realize. She just
she knew she was uninterested.
Yeah, she didn't want to.
Yeah, I think it was Henry who was the first one where she was like, I think this is the first one I'm going to actually consider.
Oh well, I thought when Henry starts talking about it, I thought there was a scene where the narrator says that Ethel just realized that so many people were trying to court her.
No, because, like, while they're in her archaeological dig site, and he's, like, bringing up these other people, and she's like, "Yeah, I didn't care about them."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Yeah, I know I don't have as much to offer as all of these others." She's like, "Yeah, but I don't want them."
Mm-hmm.
I also think it's funny because after Royal's big trick gets revealed, he's cleaning shit up. He's I'm so sad, I'm Mr. Sad Guy. He reveals that he did malpractice at one point, and that's how, like, somebody owed him a favor to give him the hospital equipment.
No, he helped with a malpractice suit. This doesn't necessarily mean that the doctor did malpractice. It just means that he was tried for malpractice.
I didn't even think of that shit. I just full on accepted it. Performed malpractice.
But if you're being sued for malpractice, I just feel like it's good to assume that you probably did the malpractice.
I think that's explicitly, like, a bad way to look at justice. We're supposed to have this whole innocent until proven guilty thing, and to invert that is, like,
I know that. It's just
very bad.
It's just different when it's medical malpractice, because it's really hard to lie about that.
Now, what if you're
really not?
What if you're being sued for divorce?
You better hope they don't take the wife.
Oh gosh.
Took the wife in the divorce.
Oh god, they took my wife in the divorce.
Also, very, very important line, as he's, like, moving out of the building, and he's, like, having a talk with Richie about the whole thing, and he's like, But Richie, I'm gonna live. You were never sick, Dad.
This was also where we do get the narrator chiming in, where like Royal says, "It's been the best 6 days of my life," and then he immediately realized that that was true.
Mm-hmm. Also, he like apologizes for how he acts around Chaz, and he's like, I just don't want you guys to end up like me.
Yeah. Well, he mentions to Chaz also that if he continues on the path that he's on, he's going to end up like him.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't imagine it's going to be in the same way. Like, this could be seen as a reading of like, I was like you when I was younger, and I don't think that's exactly what he means either. I think that this is genuinely like intended to be actual advice, because this is immediately after the epiphany of, oh shit, wait a minute,
Mm-hmm.
I actually do care. But oh well, because I care, this means I do have to leave because they hate me. Here's my parting advice: you are being horrible to everyone around you. Not in the same way that I am necessarily, but you are. You gotta cut that out, or they're going to hate you like they hate me. Anyway, bye.
Like knows like you all suck.
Mm-hmm.
He does also reveal that he did all this because he was like, if I couldn't get Ethel back, then I at least wanted to keep the status quo by getting rid of Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Which sucks.
Yeah. And then this is the moment where Pagoda brings his bags and Royal's bags out and then pulls out a pocket knife and stabs Royal.
Again.
An extra one for the road.
And he says this is the last time.
A little stab for the road.
He says this is the last time you're ever going to stab me.
I do also think it's funny that like, I don't know if they do, but like I'm pretty sure like Royal gets in the cab, but I think it's funny to imagine that Pagoda rode with him after stabbing him.
I'm pretty sure he does, because he goes to they both end up in the same hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're in a new hotel room where Pagoda's patching him up, and Pagoda asks about getting money, and Royal's like, "We don't have any. I don't even know how we're gonna keep this hotel room."
Spent it all on fake ass drugs.
Big tag.
I believe this is also finally the moment where Eli shows up to talk with Margaret on like a bridge or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, I don't love you, and I think it's gross that Richie loves you." And then, this is where it's revealed that, oh, why did you send shit to my mom? And he says, you never gave me the time of day. You never gave me the time of the day until they got good reviews, which she replies, the reviews weren't that good.
Yeah, but people like it.
And then this is where the detective that Rayleigh and Richie met, and we see a montage of all the relationships and like secret stuff that Margot's had going on, and then the detective just just tells them, yeah, she smokes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he specifically hands her a file. He hands them a file, and they look through it, and
It's
then
a pretty
we see them.
thick file. He's
Yeah.
very good at his job.
Yeah, and then we see the montage. And I don't think the detective mentions it. I think fucking Rayleigh mentions that she smokes.
No, the detective, like,
No, I definitely remember Rayleigh doing it.
in the
It was,
hospital.
it was an air of disappointment
Oh,
as well.
okay.
We also have that, they're both bummed about getting this news. And this is where Richie does his little
He's really cool. He
His little thing,
eats a
his little thing
big
that's
sandwich.
that Soup did not warn us about until
Huh?
right as it was about to happen.
And
Wait,
we forgot to give our warning at the beginning of this podcast.
No, I'm
Yeah.
gonna.
Soup, quick.
I'm putting it in the post. I'm putting it in post. Don't worry, fucking. Where you're
Just in case they didn't read that, just like say it here like super fast.
Just in case they didn't. I'm gonna say it, but okay, fine. Hey guys, because my co-hosts are fucking idiot assholes. I'll let you guys. I'll let you guys hear this a second time. Hey, suicide warning. That was really tasteless. Yeah, no, suicide warning. Don't, I guess stop listening.
Skip ahead to the timestamp that
Yeah.
I'm not going to timestamp and I'm gonna put a fucking thing in the post so that they're
I
gonna.
rarely hear you sound like such a little shit.
I'll be really professional and normal about it, unlike how I'm doing it here, because that's
anyway, yeah. So he tries to kill himself. He cuts off all of his hair and shaves and everything. He's had like long hair and a beard this whole time. And it's like over some music that I don't remember, but it is significant.
Yeah.
And he's like going through all of this. He begins to shave, gets one stroke through before he reaches in, grabs the blade out of the razor and like cuts down or says, "I'm going to kill myself tomorrow," and then cuts his arms, attempting to kill himself today.
Wes said that line was a reference to something else.
Yeah. I read what it was. I can't remember what it was. Hold on.
Richie making a reference to himself.
The Fire Within, which is it's a film from 1963 where a suicidal man tries to meet his friends, and it's a French film that translated into English. The line that he's quoting, I guess, is, "I'm going to kill myself tomorrow," and this is yeah. Anyway, so yeah, he slits his wrists or arms.
Someone does find him in the bathroom.
Dudley.
I can't remember who.
Yeah.
Dudley finds him in the bathroom.
Yep, and the scream is silent because it's all artful and over music and things.
There's very beautiful music playing.
Dudley and Riley rush him to the hospital. It's interesting because Dudley and Riley are both wearing like sort of scrubs pushing the fucking cart, which why were they involved? Covered in blood.
I think it's something of like a symbolism of, maybe envisioning the ones you love being there for you when they just aren't there.
I don't know that Richie has particularly strong feelings about Riley or Dudley.
I guess just the last people you saw.
strong feelings for Riley, certainly, in some sense. Dudley's just a boy.
In some sense, I hate that motherfucker.
I'd say he's got strong but also ambivalent, I guess, feelings, because they are comrades in arms in that they're both not fucking his sister.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're both upset about it.
Oh, let's see. I have this note here. I kind of feel like he probably said more about it, and I probably should have wrote down if he did. Wes said that he connects to Luke during the shaving scene. I guess.
Okay, there, Wes.
I think I don't know, during the shaving part, he said he connects to what he was going. I don't know. I don't really remember why he said that, but he said that.
Well,
Wes, it would be nice if you elaborated.
I hope you get the help you need, buddy.
He probably did elaborate. This is my fault for not taking good notes, I guess. Another note that says Luke wanted to do the shaving scene. or at least the shaving part of it, where it shows you him actually shaving.
Yeah, I think that was a good move.
I also have a note that, let's see, other notes about Richie. Luke spent a few months growing that beard and was unable to get other work because of it.
Damn.
Luke was a fan of the sunglasses and beard look, but his mom hated it.
Miss Wilson.
Son, I can't wait until you'll be able to shave that gross, disgusting caterpillar off your face.
I can't wait till you can shave those sunglasses off.
Bill's beard was also naturally grown, and that was also hated by his wife. Beard looks were not popular with the folks, I guess.
What a fucking shame.
Yeah, people don't
This is
really
so
seem to
good.
care for beards a lot. It's a shame.
I mean, that's why I shave.
It's also at this part of the movie where, in kind of the whole family being alerted to this, that we learn that Royal has gotten a job working an elevator at the hotel he got kicked out of.
Mm-hmm.
And he rushes away from that to try and get to the hospital.
Wes notes now, if you were a particular fan of his, if you paid attention during his last movies, maybe you would feel this line doesn't make any sense. But Wes said that this is the first time he wanted you to think that someone was going to die in one of his movies.
Really?
Interesting.
I know that there's people who probably think that there is a lot of danger with some of the scenes in Rushmore about a death being possible, but Wes evidently didn't think that was on a higher.
The heart attack and bottle rocket.
Yeah. I think I guess those scenes were dressed in a way where you knew people were gonna come out of it all right. But
I don't think that's true.
Wes, I think you have very different feelings about things than the people who've watched your films have felt.
Why would I assume that he was gonna be fine?
Seemed pretty bad for him in there.
I
don't know,
I thought it was entirely possible that Dignan would die.
I also thought it was entirely possible Dignan would die.
He died.
They'll never kill him. He's innocent.
He's innocent.
He'll never catch.
Fucking innocent.
That's why because he was so innocent, they slammed him onto the fucking ground like that.
Did him like Jesus Christ did to Judas.
So also this is kind of the moment where Raleigh is like, "Hey, Margot, I know you've been like fucking Eli Cash."
That's not the line.
Yes, I do have here that he mentions Margot is bawling Eli Cash.
Also not the line. The line is, and this is so important. You've made a cuckold of me.
Well, I didn't have that part. I didn't have that part in here.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you
Multiple
would
times
that.
over.
There's no one who would remember cucking like you.
Uh-huh.
And this is where he asks Margot for a cigarette, and she's like, "You don't smoke." And he gets his cigarette lit, and he's like, "I'm out of here, au revoir," and he just fucking leaves.
I'm taking Dudley.
Actually, Dudley doesn't leave with him.
Oh, crap.
Dudley gets.
And this is also where Ethelyn looks at Margot and is like, "You smoke?" And she reveals she's been smoking for 22 years.
Mm-hmm.
And Ethelyn's like, "Yeah, you should quit that. You should quit smoking."
Wes has an unfortunate note here that Gwyneth Paltrow had quit smoking before this movie, and this movie might have gotten her back onto that wagon.
Oh no!
So fucked.
Bad job, Wes.
Henry, good husband, arrives and asks what he can do to help. And Royal arrives to the front desk and is told visiting hours are over and he should fucking go.
And also, like, he is suspicious that he's been given instruction, or they've been given instructions not to let him in.
Yeah.
And, like, she's actually got, like, a paper and everything that she hides from his view, which seems to lend credence to the idea.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, I guess that makes sense. People seem to not like me for reasons that are entirely valid and reasonable. I guess I'm leaving.
But, like, he does that, but then when he leaves with Pagoda, they're trying to, like, he's trying to plan how they're gonna sneak in. Yeah. And then Pagoda points out that Richie's just outside already and getting on a bus and leaving.
He becomes a runaway patient.
This is also
not a runaway. He checked himself out.
He checked himself
I mean,
out.
he said he did. He said he did, but you know
he said he did, but they would not have let him.
How would they stop him?
How would they stop him?
I mean,
how would they stop any patient?
Yeah, you are allowed to check yourself out against medical advice.
Yeah, you're allowed to leave. They're not allowed to hold you if you decide not to.
I guess so.
Like, unless you've been deemed by the state to be, like, a danger to yourself and others in court, they're not allowed to hold you.
Well, see, my assumption was also that he might have been lying because he's still wearing the scrubs when he's getting on the bus, which you usually return.
Maybe he just really wants to go home that bad and, like, fuck the clothes you were wearing.
Yeah, when they let you leave, usually you get clothes. Usually you get
it's same day. They'd be all dirty. I just want to get out of here.
I mean, that's true, but, artistically, they need to be able to show that he is just straight from the hospital, also.
Also, fucking, unless they're a danger to themselves and others, the guy just tried to kill himself.
Unless they've been deemed by a court to be a danger to themselves and others.
True, a court would not have ruled that because it's too soon.
Correct.
We also have Royal remarking that Richie doesn't look too bad for an attempted suicide.
Yeah.
Thanks, Royal.
Thanks, Royal. Your tact is immaculate.
This is where Richie, sneaks back into, the house yet again, goes back to his funny little tent upstairs. Which Margot is already inside listening to music. They kind of chat. Margot asks how many stitches he got, and he says, I don't know, and just shows Margot his fucking fucked up arms.
Which is gross and nasty.
It's gross and nasty. It looks so bad.
He's got stitches in him.
Yeah.
Richie says that he heard about Margot's husband and Eli, and Margot, kind of remarks that they mostly talked about Richie, which is why she liked them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they finally admit to each other that they love each other, and they make out nasty style in there.
Uh-huh. And then they say we probably just have to keep the fact that we are obsessed with each other a secret and never talk about this with anyone.
Also in a normal way, he remarks that the reason he went off on the boat is because he couldn't stop thinking about Margot. And they're also laying on the sleeping bag that they took when they first ran away when they were kids.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna like this. I don't think anybody's gonna like this.
Okay.
Wes says that Margot was originally not written as adopted.
Oh, Wes.
You scallywag.
And then he just makes a little comment about how he knew a kid in 4th grade that loved his sister, and I don't know.
Yeah.
And let's just lodge that away in his brain and say that's going to the movie someday.
Great job. Great job, Anderson.
Oh, hold on.
So yeah, I guess the film that could have been would have been more objectionable.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, since Swigs is away, I think now will be a great time to sweep on in our new segment, 20 questions, in which I have collected some questions that I have accrued on Blue Sky.
You've collected some what?
Questions?
Oh, some. Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I thought you said. All right.
Yeah, I accrued some questions over at my Blue Sky account. Which, you know, I would say if you want to send a question to the podcast, feel free to send it at blank, where people like how people normally do, but I didn't do this in like any kind of normal sense. So you just kind of, I guess, follow my Blue Sky and fucking be on it. For when I ask people to send me messages. Right now we have two beautiful questions. Question 1: best and worst insect. So for me, I would say the best insect would be the beetle.
I can't help but feel
That's like so many insects. There are so many beetles.
I don't know. Worst is probably one of those giant wasps or something, right?
Giant wasp. Those are cool. I like the wasp. The wasp would be high tier for me.
I don't know. I mean, wasps gonna be like killer.
Yeah, but like they look cool. I feel like
I guess I guess they look cool, but I don't know.
Are ticks insects? Because if so, fuck those.
They're arachnids, actually.
Well, I'm going to ignore the question then and say ticks are the worst arachnid and the best arachnid is scorpions.
Okay.
The best arachnid is scorpions, yeah.
I didn't say what my worst one is. I don't know, I'd go for the worm, I guess. I think they're gross and icky.
Worm
is a worm an insect?
I don't care.
Worm is an annelid.
I don't care.
Worm is a
All right. Annelid?
No, what is it? What's a worm?
It's an annelid.
What's that?
It's worms.
It's like the whole group that worms are a part of. They're like their whole thing. They're their own thing.
Worms are their own thing?
Yeah, they're their own thing.
Wow. Shoutouts to worms, I guess. I don't know. Or unshoutouts. No,
it's fucked because annelids do make up like an entire full ass percentage of the biomass of the earth. It's fucked.
Oh, leeches are also annelids.
Yeah.
How did we get to worms?
Swigs.
Swigs.
Best and worst insect. Go. This is 20 questions.
Best and worst. Oh.
20 questions.
I don't know. I like pill bugs.
All right, what's the worst one?
Gosh. I think I have just a lot of hate in me for flies.
Okay.
At least that one's an insect.
I don't know what I think.
That other one's a shrimp.
Best insect. I don't know. Flick from A Bug's Life.
Specific.
And would you say the big capitalist grasshopper is the worst insect? Answer wisely.
What, are you talking about the flea? The capitalist flea?
Oh no,
you mean the
big
grasshopper. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, the grasshoppers. I'm sorry. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, and we'll just like it's 1997 or whatever. Bug's Life just came out. I'm pro anti-grasshopper.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, I think we all answered that question. Thank you for your question. Second question. Your question. Second question. If you could go back and change something in a canon story / series, what would it be? Keep it to Anderson questions.
If I could go back and do what, sorry?
If you could go back and change something in a canon story / series, what would it be? Keep it to Wes Anderson, please.
I somehow still didn't manage to take that in.
All right, one more time. If you could go back and change something in a canon story / series, what would it be? Keep it Wes style, please.
So we change one thing about a Wes Anderson thing.
Yes.
Well, obviously, we would go back and change Bottle Rocket to be about boys instead of men.
It's a good one.
Right?
Does that mean do we lose out on like casting Owen Wilson and thus torpedo?
No, he would have been smaller.
He would have been smaller.
Likely.
The movie just would have came out when they were younger.
Yeah.
Wes Anderson would have made it when he was in grade school.
I would have them change Mordecai as a character to be the original run of who Mordecai was supposed to be, but still have the bird.
Still have
the bird is still the one playing the character.
The bird would be drinking chocolate milk.
Yeah, it lives on the roof, is a child prodigy.
I would make it so that when Royal Tenenbaum was partying and living it up with his grandchildren, one of them died and Royal had to scramble to replace it.
with a kid that looks exactly like one of them. And this would not change much of the story, I think.
Yeah, no, everything continues on. We never speak of it again.
Chaz never figures this out and doesn't really care.
Hold on, my audio cut out. What did you say about the grandchildren?
I said when Royal was hanging out with the grandchildren, one of them should have died, and he would have had to hurry to replace them.
Oh my god. All right, I think Bottle Rocket, I'll make it so that Kumar never lost it, and he actually does unlock the safe.
And they all get away, and they're all happy.
Kumar gets a fucking W.
Applejack doesn't. I would make Applejack dies of a heart attack, and Dignan is shot to death in the locker.
There's a 45-minute uninterrupted scene where in Future Man just lives his life.
All right, well,
I would change the character of Future Man to be a angelic, just extremely strange and bizarre, stare at him too long and you go insane type figure.
Change him to Paleolithic Man and have him get excited over me.
Bludgeon. Oh god. Shut up. Don't fucking bring that into the podcast.
Well, what this means is that we all seem to unequivocally agree there's nothing we would change about Rushmore.
True.
I think it'd be really hard to change something about Rushmore.
Rushmore is a perfect movie.
Mm-hmm. It's a perfect 10 out of 10, feel good, coming of age, highly comedic classic
of the summer.
It's fucked in a way that's special.
Quoted by Zach.
All right. That was the segment of 20 questions. Thank you for sending your 20 questions. We
answered all 20 of them.
Answered all 20 of them.
18 more next time. 18 more.
18 more. Yeah, make it snappy.
If you want this bit to end, you have to send us 18 more, and then we can never answer another question.
Yeah, then we just go to normal questions. Fuck, what were we doing?
We were recapping the film.
What film?
After right where Richie and Margot reunite in the tent, I think.
Yeah.
So. we have where Margot asks Richie if the suicide was because of her, and he says, "Yeah, but it's like not your fault, and I probably won't try to do it again."
Mm-hmm.
And that's where they kind of both agree, like, we're just gonna have to be secretly in love.
What happened? Fucking, I know. I guess I know what happens next, but like Wes Anderson movies kind of have like this thing where it's like big thing happens that's important, and then 20 small things happen in between that go really quick.
Yeah, because like we have, there's some fucking boarhead that Royal liked that Richie hangs back up on the wall eventually, and then he goes to meet with Royal, and sees that he's an elevator operator, and Royal's like, oh yeah, I wanted to like prove I could pay my own dues, pay my own way, and
Now,
yeah.
So this didn't come from Wes, but what you just said about Richie and the boarhead.
Yeah.
Well, another source sort of like presupposes that this means something because the boarhead was found in the closet, and why do you think Richie would have been in the closet?
Why? I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
the what this presupposes is that Richie found the boarhead because him and Margot were in the closet, kissing or something.
Wow.
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 Well, they keep a lot of games in there, so maybe maybe he just wanted to play a game.
Yeah, maybe he wanted to play Candyland. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know enough.
They've got a perfectly good tent right over there.
So Richie's asking Royal about like advice. Talking like, I've always loved her. Richie points out it's not illegal because they're not blood related. And Royal's like, don't listen to my fucking advice. Because I never understood Margaret or any of us, really. And he wishes that he could offer Richie more than that. And then during this kind of like Richie being like, I still consider you my father. A falcon appears and they just kind of are confused and like, is this Mordecai? We're not totally sure if this, like, it has to be Mordecai, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's got the feathers. His feathers are white, which is weird. Why are his feathers all white?
After 25 years, he's finally started to age.
Now that you've unlocked your true heart, I will age away and die because you no longer need me.
All right, now this I've got something fun for. I want everybody to listen up because this
Okay.
is trivia. All right.
Okay.
So Mordecai the bird, he had flown away during filming, got found in New Jersey, and held for ransom. They were not able to secure the bird back for the rest of filming. So that bird from this point on actually is a different bird.
And they're just trying to roll with it.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Except the other thing is, I feel like his feathers are back to more or less what they were before in the final scene with Mordecai. Did they shoot that scene before the bird got lost?
Yeah, man, sometimes things are out of order. They don't film things in perfect order.
It's possible.
I know, but like... This is the only one where this is like definitively, obviously a different bird. But the dialogue that they use in that scene suggests that the plan was always for Mordecai to look different.
Wes was gonna Sharpie the bird again. He was just gonna.
Maybe that is the same different bird.
Wes was gonna bleach the bird.
I'm stunned about that because like how are you like in a different state realizing that this is a film bird and saying, "Hey Wes Anderson, I have your bird. If you want to see him again."
Yeah, like was specifically ransom to Wes or just like a general ransom? And then also like we have the information that they did not get the bird back. What happened to True Mordecai?
I think they said they got it back eventually, but not in time for the rest of the film. So they just had to...
Who ransoms a falcon?
I don't know.
Awesome crimes of the early 2000s, everybody.
Hey, that's the guy who made Rushmore. He must be loaded in cash. I'm gonna get him.
I hear he was paid $700 a day. He was paid $700 a day to not write bottle rockets.
So after all that, after this brand new Mordecai moment, Richie has rounded up Royal and Pagoda to go see Eli, who's hanging out with like very clearly drug dealer type men.
Mm-hmm.
And you know they kick those guys out, and then Richie asks if he and Eli are still friends, and he's like, "Yeah, of course." And he apologizes, and he said he always wanted to be part of the family. And Royal says, "Me too." Pagoda also says, "Me too."
Oh, so like,
and then real quick, Eli's like, "Yeah, I wanna get better," and he and Richie hug, and then Eli's just kind of like, "Yeah, just like give me a second," and then he just climbs out the window and runs away.
yeah, Pagoda's like, there he goes. I think this is where like Eli is hanging out with some Egyptian people, I think, and he says like Tutankhamun, and one of them goes, "It's Tutankhamun," or however it's supposed to be.
Other way, but yeah.
Yeah. That
Eli
was
I think it was Ramses. I think it was Tutankhamun. Yeah, is that what it is?
Yeah. That part was unscripted. Owen said that, and the extra just corrected him.
And you know, kind of on now this like upswing, kind of good moment for everybody. You know, Royal meets with Margot, and you know tries to get her ice cream, and he's like, "Hey."
Did we get into how that scene actually ends?
Yes, with Richie bulk booking it, yeah.
Oh shit, sorry, my bad.
Yeah, Eli fucking getting away, yeah. You know, Royal's kind of talking with Margot, talking about how Richie's torn up, talking about how Royal really wants to actually make up now. Margot asks him what her middle name is, and he like thinks for a minute, and then he's like, "Nah, that's like a trick question. You don't have one," or whatever. And then she immediately replies with Helen, and he's like, "Oh, that's my mother's name."
Mm-hmm. He's doing great.
he's trying his best, but he's still Royal Tenenbaum.
Mm-hmm. Royal Tenenbaums it.
He tries to reconnect with Chaz again, tries to get him and the kids to come to the cemetery, but they don't. And then after that, he shows up to Ethelyn to be like, "Hey, here's the fucking papers. We're divorced for real. You know, my compliments to Mr. Henry."
Says a really nice line
like,
where he's like, "I've been trying to figure out all this time what you see in him. I finally get it. He's nothing like me."
Yeah, he's everything.
He's everything I'm not.
He's everything I'm not. Yeah.
Also, holy shit, Blair, sound the alarms. So sorry, folks. 20 questions is back on the menu. We've been given another question.
Whoa.
Live during recording?
Live during recording?
Yep, live during recording. We've been giving another question.
All right, what do we got? Hot off the presses. What do we got?
I'll just post this image I'll post this onto the podcast, so that everyone can see exactly what it is. Would you?
Would I?
Would I?
All right, Thank you for the rada as the rada. Thank you for the 20 question. Thank you for the 20 questions.
Rada, shut the fuck up, everybody.
Oh. Thank you.
Thank you for the third question. All right, what were we doing?
Talking about the movie.
What movie?
Royal Tenenbaums from Wes Anderson.
I've never heard of that one.
Oh, okay. So
No, okay, we should probably stop, take a break, so we can show Soup Royal Tenenbaums.
Yeah, okay. That sounds like a good time.
Blah, 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 blah. Divorces his wife for real. And then we're kind of just immediately to preparing for the wedding day.
Wedding time.
And Henry's getting ready, and Chaz's kids are talking with him, and Henry points out that he's a widower, and Chaz says the baller line, "I'm actually something of a widower myself."
I know Chaz.
Yeah, which also, I guess that's also sort of what Royal had been alluding to as well, because like, this was mentioned while Chaz was in the room during the "I know what stomach cancer looks like. Stomach cancer is what killed my wife.
Yeah.
You don't have stomach cancer." Chaz is in the room, and I guess just like fully not paying attention to that part, because when he mentions when he mentions that he's a widower and everything, this is sort of new information to Chaz, because he's so sort of self-absorbed at this moment in time on account of, he's gone through some trauma. He's also a very immature person and things like that. So it's all solidified into a way where he's not really paying attention to the people around him.
Yeah, and I guess we kind of didn't bring it up, but there was a scene where he seemed himself upset of the idea of his mom. Dating.
Oh yeah. He's been he has not been approving of Henry this whole time. Not necessarily in like not in the sort of weirdly racist kind of way that Royal has been for a little while, but more like who is this guy? I don't even fucking know this guy.
Yeah, I don't even know this guy. Again, judgmental, like childlike way of I don't like new dad.
Yeah, you've known him for 10 years. Well, he's not my dad yet. He's not. Like, you don't like your dad anyway. But finally, we get this bit of resolution of, they've bonded over the fact that both of their wives died. And now this is also now a moment where Chaz is beginning to like become less of a shit.
And then after that beautiful moment, Eli comes rushing down the fucking road, his face all painted up. He crashes his fucking car into the house. Of course, this immediately makes Chaz panic again, because now he's worried that his kids have been hurt.
And his kids were very nearly hit by that car. If not
for, Royal saving them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Royal jumps in and pulls the kids out of the way. The dog, Buckley, does not make it, unfortunately.
Buckley dies under that car, but, no warnings because you don't see anything. We're not shown anything. We were just told the dog's under there.
Royal Tenenbaums does not survive. Does the dog die?
So Royal saved the children. Chaz is now fucking chasing Eli down to beat the fuck out of him. In their chase, they like knock the fucking pastor down the stairs, and Chaz eventually throws Eli over a garden wall into the backyard of the next house over. And then they kind of both just like lay there after Chaz also hops the wall. And Eli's like, dang, did I hit the dog? And Chaz is like, yeah, you hit the dog. And Eli's like, wow, I need help. And it's at this moment, Chaz finally realizes, yeah, I also need help too.
And the movie kind of wraps up at this point, right?
Yeah, we're kind of wrapping up. We got Royal talks with Henry again, says, hey, I don't want you to think I'm an asshole. And Henry says, you're not an asshole, you're just kind of a son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Rally and
he gets also he gets the kids a new dog.
Yeah, we're seeing all these characters kind of mingle. Ethel kind of shows up to take the kids away from the car into their dead-ass dog. And Royal's like, hey, look, I bought the Firehouse Dalmatian. I've named him Sparkplug.
Yeah, the dog was already named Sparkplug. The Dalmatian thing being sort of like a callback, I guess,
to the rats.
To Chaz's Dalmatian mice, and also for some weird reason throughout the movie, it's just shown that Royal is extremely good at like dogs. Just good at dogs. I listen to him.
Good at dog fights. Good at dogs.
Yeah, dogs listen to him.
What
was that? Huh?
What was that, Noodle?
Dog is a type of skill.
Dog is a skill. Royal kind of like announces to everybody, he's like, hey, I want to actually like try and do right by people now. And Chaz kind of finally accepts his dad and is like, Dad, I've had a rough fucking year, Dad.
Mm-hmm. I know Chazzy.
We have Margot and Richie talking about Mordecai and his white feathers, and Margot kind of shares her secret cigarette hiding spot, the very first one, and they both smoke some old ass cigarettes together on the roof. The children's old dog is buried behind the garden shed. I also love as we get into like these kind of anecdotes of characters at the very end here, which is like, yeah, Ethelyn and Henry got married. Margot made a new play. It ran for 2 weeks and got mixed reviews. Raleigh and Dudley went on a tour and wrote a book about his very specific and unique condition. Eli is rehabilitating in North Dakota. Richie's training.
He does sick ass yo-yo tricks in front of people. Or no, he's doing lasso tricks in front of. Yeah, it's a lasso.
The yo-yo of the West.
Yeah, the West.
We do have, as Zach has noted, that when Chaz and Eli go crashing into the backyard of the next place over, it is like a nice, pleasant Zen garden.
Yeah, in the back of an embassy for, I mean, presumably a Japanese embassy, but I don't know that that's true.
I think it was a Chinese embassy? Or, I shouldn't have said that.
Now you are forever doomed.
Oh no.
Look, it's okay. I'll consider putting an almond break over that so that they don't know you were really racist.
What a great way to censor.
It's an embassy that they don't really expand upon.
Yeah, no, it's just the embassy next door.
Mm.
Yeah, the embassy next door.
Like the girl next door.
I feel like
the
they
boy
maybe
next door.
mentioned it, but I don't know for sure.
We should keep, we should keep messing around with this idea. We should keep pondering the nature of the empathy.
Anyway, Richie does what he do and teaches 8 to 12-year-olds tennis. Chaz and Royal and the grandkids continue to hang out. Royal has a heart attack at 68, and Chaz was the only one there to witness it. His father dying.
So I have a thing about this too. When Royal first begins his lie of whether or not he's dying, he says that he has 6 weeks to live, and while we don't have an exact timeline for the events and everything that went on, not much time has passed, and it's distinctly possible that he died 6 weeks later. So
he knew.
Entirely possible, and it also could have entirely been related to whatever problem he was actually getting medication for at the beginning.
Yeah, he's got high blood pressure.
He has high blood pressure, and he spends the entire movie eating hamburgers and smoking cigarettes.
So he has high blood pressure. He keeps doing all of this, and then he has a heart attack.
He eats Tic Tacs instead of taking medication.
Yep.
I can't begin to tell you how much cigarettes alone give you fucking high blood pressure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and high cholesterol and everything is not helping either, so...
No.
That's right, kid.
He's not a man taking care of himself, for sure.
Don't eat cigarettes. That's the lesson.
Don't eat cigarettes.
Don't smoke burgers.
Make sure your pills don't say Tic Tac on them, because nothing should say Tic Tac on it.
If more pills, if anything says Tic Tac on it, something is wrong, and you need to get out.
Let's take out
the box. The box is allowed to.
Something does the
any pill though.
You should still be wary.
Does the let's take ibuprofen together pose, but I have a pill labeled Tic Tac in my hand.
I don't trust you. I don't trust you. We didn't approve that. So the movie kind of ends on the note of Royal Tenenbaum wanted his funeral at dusk. He left a big set of encyclopedias to Chaz's kids. So they can also be baby geniuses or whatever.
There's a little detail about that funeral that, again, it's a very minute thing, but it impressed me a little bit to the point where I don't know what the order of events was. He mentions that it was lightly raining during the funeral, and when you do rain in Hollywood, typically you manufacture the rain because rain doesn't really show up on camera, right? So in order for any amount of rain to really look like anything, it ends up being heavy rain that you've done with hoses and shit. This is not the case for this scene because we don't really see the rain apart from occasionally seeing an occasional particle or two, and there's some droplets of water on the casket and stuff like that, which leads me to believe it was actually lightly raining, and makes me wonder if they filmed the scene and it was lightly raining, and then they mention in the voiceover later as a thing because they thought, well, this is appropriate, and we're not going to cut filming and do it tomorrow when it's not raining. We'll do it this way, and we'll. That's my. I don't know. Maybe they mention it in the director's commentary. I wouldn't have any idea.
I turned in my chair to look directly at Derek.
What? The rain?
I put my chair backwards and
did they mention the rain at all during the funeral?
The rain was not mentioned at all. Or
they don't even mention the rain.
Not even mention the rain.
One or two things might have happened. All right, the rain was not mentioned. Okay, which I think is what likely happened. Equal as likely is that he mentioned the rain, and I just didn't care. I didn't care about the rain trivia.
It is a tremendously trivial thing for me to have brought us all on fucking tangents about.
No, it's important.
I mean, that's interesting, from a filmmaking point.
It is very interesting.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad that you're humoring me in my very boring things to talk about.
We will put that on your tombstone when you die.
It's okay.
Die talking about rain, Hollywood rain.
Gets really caught up in meaningless minutia.
It's alright.
Hey, folks.
Yeah?
Do you think that doing the West podcast will one day lead to us having all being buried in the same graveyard?
You're not allowed to give spoilers for episode 13.
Episode 13. Episode 13, where we record 6 feet under Royal Tenenbaums' tombstone.
Wait,
Hey boss, what's up with this clause that says I'm going to be buried alive at the end of this podcast?
Hey, put it.
Super's gonna have me drive around and like knock y'all out and put you in little caskets.
Wait, Zach, are you saying the same like graveyard, like 5 different plots, or the same like plot of land, like we're all going to be dumped in the same?
5 different plots. We'll have our own graves.
We don't have a budget for that. It is gonna be a mass grave.
We're gonna invent the bunk bed grave.
The bunk grave.
Do you think it'd be tier list? I'm thinking of. I immediately considered of calling it tier list grave.
The grave tier list.
Who gets buried the deepest? F tier.
F tier. Why haven't they done that? The real people.
They should do that with all. They should dig all of them up and then make a gigantic single grave tier list of all the stupid ass presidents.
I think they haven't done it for this strange little thing called common sanity.
Yeah,
Sounds fucking stupid.
I'll do like a sort of like a paternoster or a fucking like revolving multiple CD player type thing where it just there's a casket and then it rotates a revolver basically and another one.
Mm-hmm.
We all get buried in the same thing.
Oh god.
Our kind of final closing things of this funeral are that Chaz's kids do a gun salute with BB guns.
It's supposed to be a 21 gun salute, but there's only 2 of them, so one of them's going to shoot an odd number of times.
Also, their suits, although the tracksuits are black.
Yeah,
I didn't notice they were wearing the tracksuits.
That's awesome.
Go on, kids, put on the morning tracksuit.
We haven't used these since your mom.
Ben Stiller didn't go up to Wes Anderson and go, "Hey, why do we have black tracksuits?"
For morning.
They point out that nobody spoke during the funeral, but that's how Royal would have wanted it. And we kind of end on, we show his gravestone, which he wrote for himself, which says he died tragically while rescuing his family from a sinking battleship. And then everybody kind of files out of the graveyard, and the movie, that is the end.
In a way, I guess you could say he really did save them from a sinking battleship too.
It's true. He brought them back together.
So do you think, like, given the time frame of the movie and the event that occurred, do you think Jess's wife died doing 9/11? Thoughts?
Okay,
sure,
well,
whatever. This might as well.
I mean, well, hold on. It was implied that Chaz's wife died a year before, right? So, like, you're kind of.
Oh, she used the test run. Okay.
Can I? Oh. It's okay. I'll put almond break over this whole fucking question.
Oh, hold on. We're allowed to go off on a whole fucking thing about, like, Travis McElroy's masturbation habits, but we're not allowed to talk about 9/11.
No.
At least this is still on topic.
Now, Soup will almond break me here, but I will say,
You. Folks, thanks for joining me on this episode of Journey to the West.
Oh.
How'd we feel about this movie? Did we like it?
I did like the movie. I did enjoy the movie. I think it is definitely something like, especially if you're going to watch Wes Anderson films, I think this is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a very good redemptive feel, because you get Royal actually trying to change as a person and not necessarily expecting anyone to forgive him, and not necessarily trying to like he already did the thing for his own benefit and everything like that, and it didn't work out great, and then he actually did real change because he realized, wait, hold on, this was good. This was good for a time.
I think it works like very interestingly for this movie that there's enough in this one, especially with like all the characters, to like really bite into and mull over and like think about, like, you know, symbolism in ways or things that they share, shit like that.
You know what this kind of feels like to me?
Mm.
Hold on, I just realized that the thing I was about to describe is called a drama. I was like, what if there was a slice of life that was like where things are going wrong? That's just called a drama.
High fives you.
I think he's still stoned from the last time he did weed months ago.
That was I'm gonna kill you.
It was the forever weed.
He's on the forever weed.
Right, that's why I've been so anxious lately.
Okay.
You want to look into the barrel of this shotgun for me?
Eat a big sandwich.
You wanna hold this log while I chop firewood?
Ouchie, ooh, my finger.
All right, bunch of extra stuff. Gene Hackman, you know, was Wes was like, Gene Hackman, I have wrote this movie, and I think you would be perfect in it, so I wrote it for you. And Gene Hackman was like, oh yeah, please don't write for me, you know, but please don't write a part with me in mind. And then Wes was like, I'm going to do it anyway. Let's see. Angelica Huston, who plays the mom, said Wes didn't know what Eggs Benedict was. I don't know if that's really important, but I wrote it down. Wes's mother goes by Texas Anderson. She was the basis for the mom, in a way, and they actually used her real glasses for ethylene.
Huh.
Just, hey mom, can I borrow your glasses?
Hey mom, can I have these? These are my glasses. Yeah, they kind of do. Can I have these?
Can I have them?
Can I have them?
Wes felt that he and Owen's writing styles were starting to be split apart as Owen became more successful.
And that's why he wrote him as Eli, a very successful, but not critically acclaimed.
Wes Anderson looked directly in Owen Wilson's eyes and said, one of these days you're going to be playing an animated car and you're going to be like, I'm going to be crawling back to you, Wes. I want you back.
Yeah, but no, because he makes a lot of money as that animated car.
Yeah.
Something very interesting that he looked at Owen and went, this is the last time I'm ever writing with you.
That's so sad.
What
a horrible fucking what a horrible web we weave.
Wes says that he doesn't feel like his films so far had villains, so I think he sort of considered Royal was a villain in a way, at least in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
There were some childhood drawings that were seen. Those were actually Wes and his brother's actual childhood drawings that were framed.
Aww.
Who was the blonde girl that Wes kept drawing?
Okay, that part was his brother. Wes's brother is usually an artist, so those drawings were recent. There's like some that are just other childhood drawings that.
Oh, okay.
And Wes says that he really enjoyed working with Kumar because he's more of a performer than an actor.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, right? That Private Eye is a friend of the Wilson father.
The Wilson father.
Owen Wilson's father, yeah. Wes originally wanted Buckley to be an older dog, but they felt like
It's more tragic with the
yeah. There was a 10th anniversary Q&A. This had Wes and Angelica, Gwyneth, and Bill. Some of them said they were scared of Gene, so they felt like they wanted to protect Wes Anderson. Wes felt a little bad because he felt like he forced Gene to do the movie.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a reasonable thing for Gene Hackman to be like, yeah, don't write with me in mind, because it puts a lot of pressure on if he were to be like, I don't like this, I want to say no, but now he's like wasted his entire script or whatever, or that's what he's gonna feel like.
So Bill made the offhand comment saying, "Yeah, Gene is weak." This whole thing,
Oh my God.
this a lot of this will sound very serious, but the way they talk about it and the way the audience reacted, like it sounded like they were just having a ball. The audience was laughing at a lot of this stuff. So either the audience just didn't get it, or what.
I mean, or it was meant in a more lighthearted way than that delivery would imply.
Well, near the end, you're gonna hear something that's gonna be like, "Wow, that sounds serious," but no, everybody was still rolling and laughing at it. So, the movie had a lot more Beatles music, but they sent Gwyneth Paltrow to try to get the rights from Paul McCartney, one of the Beatles. They sent her to like go bowling with him and stuff, and they showed
that didn't work.
Yeah, they showed him an early screening of the movie. They said, yeah, Paul said he liked it, but he had nothing to do with the rights. Despite being one of the Beatles.
Yeah, no. I mean, music rights are going to be held by the record label, not by the artist. Although the Beatles themselves, I thought, owned what did they call their label? Apple something, which is why there was all that beef between Apple computers and hold on.
But so Bill's response to this whole spiel was, Paul is weak. Then Bill asks the audience, how many of you have played a cuckold? This is another thing the audience just thought was a riot. They laughed, and so, then they talk about how great working with the children actors were. Bill says the children were strong.
Children strong.
Children were strong.
Children strong. Gene Hackman weak.
They were asked to describe working with Wes, and then Bill goes, well, I don't want to say Wes is weak.
What is this? What is this dynamic? What's going on?
I don't. That was just the whole thing he was doing. This whole
weak and strong is.
So Bill says, you know what? I'm going to defend Gene Hackman for a little bit here. Gene had to work with Luke Wilson, and Bill was like, Luke Wilson was actually in love with Gwyneth Paltrow the whole time, so he had a hard time working. I don't blame Gene for having a hard time with the movie. So Bill was sort of bad-mouthing Luke a little bit. Audience laughs, thinks it's a riot. And here's the part nobody's going to like. Bill said working with Kumar sucked.
Boo! Fuck you! Boo! You can't be serious!
He did not like working with Kumar. And then he asked the audience, how many of you have worked with Kumar Palana? And then he immediately shouts, none of you! You wouldn't be here if you have!
That's so
you think we're weak? You think we couldn't work with Kumar Palana?
Again, the audience just thinks this is a laugh riot. And then, something cuts out. I can't hear, because then it immediately cuts to Bill saying, Luke Wilson and Kumar, I'd set fire to this whole building.
Oh my gosh.
So, again, something the audience thinks was a laugh riot.
I imagine it something along the lines of, if I was still working with
Yeah, something like that. Okay, now, and then I found an interview from Bill, just like the day it was announced Gene Hackman died, this is a few months ago. And they said they were asking him about his work with, the Royal Tenenbaums. And this is Bill in the year of our Lord 2025. And even there, he's saying, well, we had to work with Kumar Palana, and that guy was a total mystery to work with. So whatever experience Bill
Well, that's
had,
not negative, at least.
Yeah, mystery is fun. I think I can accept that about Kumar Polano.
Bill Murray evidently just still wants to talk about how crazy working with Kumar was.
Mm.
And that's about all I have.
So you like the movie?
Yes, of course I like the movie.
Okay. Anyone else?
I'd love to work with Kumar Palana.
Anyone else? Anyone else have thoughts on movie?
Yeah.
I would say that it was all right. I don't think that it stands out particularly as like a shining star in Wes Anderson movies. And it didn't strike me as quite as special as like special in an infuriating way as Rushmore was.
Mm.
But at the same time, it's still like a you can feel good at the end of this movie situation.
See, I think he did a very good job of like ensemble cast of very bizarre people, and with Rushmore, right? You've got definitely not only one bizarre person, but really the one person's bizarreness is the big fucking draw here. Max being Max is the thing, right?
Yeah.
And you get a little bit of Bill Murray is a very sad man, and you get a little bit of the people around Max are not exactly devoid of strangeness themselves, including that other girl who was a compulsive liar, who I can't remember the name of. But with the Royal Tenenbaums, every character is kind of fucked up in a way where you look at it and you're like, yeah, every single one of these is definitively a Wes Anderson character. Very strange. I like the whole everyone is very strange thing going on here, and exploring kind of all of them. Even if it's predominantly about Royal, it's still about everyone, and everyone is developed in a way that makes them all interesting and compelling somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
I quite enjoy that about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely complexities that are very interesting to pick apart.
Mm-hmm. I thought, I kind of thought, this movie's about Royal. I don't know, in a way, I kind of looked at this movie a lot and went, it kind of feels like Luke, like Richie's character has like a lot of the focus, and that like next to Royal, what he's going through is one of the more important plot lines, whereas like the stuff with like Chaz and Henry and the wife is kind of like less so there. But also at the same time, it's all still very impactful, in the sense of like the moments that they have on screen do not feel wasted.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Favorite scene in the movie is definitely when Eli comes crashing down in the car with his fucking face paint and kills the dog. Followed up.
Love some dogs die.
Soup loves when
Only-
dogs die.
Only to be tied with the scene of looking at Royal's gravestone and seeing that it's what it says. Has made me consider lying on my gravestone multiple times whenever I get around to it.
So I'm looking at the Wikipedia page a little bit just to like, get some other stuff. Apparently, if Hackman did not choose to be or did not end up going through with it, there were options, or both Michael Caine and Gene Wilder were considered, both of which would also have been very interesting choices, I think, for Royal.
Gene Wilder?
Yeah, Blazing Saddles, Charlie and the...
Yeah, the 70s Willy Wonka.
I see. Oh, okay, that would have been very freaky.
It certainly doesn't seem unfitting, but he sure would have been a lot weirder, I'm sure.
Would have been a bit more deranged, yeah.
I mean, maybe.
Speaking of segues, is there anything else you want to say before we sign off?
Fuck, did I have anything? I don't think
See you next April Fool.
Yeah,
we need to like tight schedule our April episode because this
Oh,
is still
shit.
March.
yeah, like that's gonna fucking happen.
We can try. We can try.
We have to try.
we can at least try to watch the next movie. What is the next movie, by the way?
The next movie
We're going under the
is.
sea, baby.
Oh, is it
Is
the?
it Fantastic Mr. Fox?
No.
No, not yet.
The next. Hold on. That's right. Let me fucking. Is it the
Oh, hold
fucking Steve movie?
I think this is
It's
one
Life
that,
Aquatic, I believe.
Yeah,
this is
Life.
one that I haven't seen.
Yeah, Life Aquatic with Steve Russo or whatever the fuck.
That sounds
Yeah.
good.
I believe.
I know nothing about this film except I feel like I saw commercials for it a lot when I was younger.
I
Yeah.
also remember seeing a lot of commercials.
Because it's
Huh?
one of the few West movies that Soup has never explained.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
You've never seen it?
Let's go.
God.
Yeah, well, what is it? I've failed to see 2 West movies. Which are The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou and the Darjeeling Limited, which are the next 2 films, after which I've seen everything.
I thought
Well,
it was
what about the newest one that came out, the Phoenician Scheme, which came out between last episode and now?
Oh.
It didn't.
Oh,
It's out in
by which
May,
I
I
mean
think.
it hasn't been released yet. It'll be released in May.
Yeah, I'll probably
I've seen a
be.
trailer for it. It looks good.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna be watching that movie and leaving you guys to not watch it with me. And it'll be by my yeah, fuck you too. Truth comes out. As we all know, we're not friends when this podcast turns off, and we it's very much a Mythbusters relationship we have off screen.
It's an obligation that, frankly, I think sucks.
I know. We know how you feel, bitch.
We're not even making money.
Not what? We're not making money from this?
We're not even making money.
I'm not getting paid?
No.
Sure. Yes, of course. Oh, of course. Of
No,
course
you
you're
guys
getting.
aren't getting paid.
Of course you're all getting paid. You're all being paid, and you're all being paid the same amount of money.
Hey,
Yes.
Austin, hypothetically, if you're being paid $700 right now, you tell me, right?
I mean,
$700 a
we're all being
day.
paid the same, so I don't know why it would make a difference if I told you or not.
Yes, you're all being paid $700 a day. Yes, of course.
Yay.
Yes.
Okay, yay.
Yes, and
Where
you'll
is it?
you'll see it once the podcast is over.
It's in this really big hole
It's in this very big microwave.
We're gonna find out that Soup gave a tip to the housekeeper.
That's right, everyone. I'm the inspiration behind Anthony.
Sorry, guys. All of the money has been being funneled into the Kumar Rebirth project.
We will make another Kumar.
I'm going to
We
by
can
the end
rebuild him.
of the podcast. I'm going to get a hypnotherapist to brainwash one lucky viewer into becoming the next Kumar.
We will revive Kumar Polano. Or Polana.
Do you think it's a bad running bit that we constantly meddle with the affairs of the dead on this podcast?
I mean, I wonder how long before people are very uncomfortable with with my at the very least obsession with Kumar Polana as an actor.
I mean,
I think
like,
we all love him.
I'm glad that we're all here now.
I think it's good that we avoided this podcast having a significant portion dedicated to solving the mystery of Gene Hackman's death.
That would have been that would have been really bad.
Because they already solved it by the if we had recorded way earlier though.
So you think it would have been good of us to do a fucking murder mystery section of the fucking podcast?
A true crime section
All the
where we
podcasts do. Come on.
a true crime section where we very staunchly in true crime fashion we're immensely disrespectful of the death that has actually occurred here, and we instead make it all about us. What happened to Gene Hackman was very sad.
Very, very sad. What happened to Gene Hackman's wife?
And if you have anyone in your life who is they need to be, they're in some sort of assisted living sort of situation, or they need to be taken care of and things like that, you should probably check up on them.
And if they have any pets too.
And if they have any pets too. Because if there's a single point of contact, and that point of contact is also a point of failure, anyway.
What were you about to say, Zach?
I was just saying, fucking, it's just really sad what happened to the both of them. I will also say that I wouldn't exactly put it above us.
Yeah, no, we're
assholes.
Yeah, we've been pretty irreverent throughout all of this. I can't wait for our greatest critic and hater, ambiguous person on Reddit whose name I don't care about, to totally put us on blast for all of this.
I don't care, as I can't read.
All right, folks. We've made it. We've filled our 3-hour quota. We've made it into April 26th. We've made it April 16. We've done a day of Wes Anderson. I think this is as good as time as any to say.
Made $700.
Yep. Made a shoot for 700. I think it's as good as time as any to tell our fans to fuck off and get out of here. This has been Journey to the West. Thank you so much for listening. I've been Soup. And then everyone else say their names.
I've been Austin. I still respect women.
I'm still
friends.
Try again.
You talk over each other.
Try again. One more time.
You should make an order for this.
You go first. I'm not gonna say who goes first, but you go first.
Derek?
I'm still Derek.
Okay, now another person.
I'll always be Zach, and I'll always love women.
You're fucking full of shit. Anyway, Swigs.
I'm Swigs and Taka, and my opinion on women has changed.
Wow. Wow,
In what way?
How do you feel differently?
She muted. She's gone.
Oh my god.
I'll grab her. I'll grab her and make her say it in post.
No, it's a cliffhanger. We'll find out in the next episode of Journey to the West.
Yeah, okay, that's a good idea.
See
yeah,
you
well,
West time. Wow, goodbye. See you West time.
see you West time. I hope you all learned your fucking lesson.